Good afternoon, Delaware County from Bonner High School. It's the PCL playoffs, the wild card round between the number 10 seeded Cardinal O'Hara Lions and the number 7 seeded Monsignor Bonner Friars. Good afternoon, everybody. David Chapansky alongside Brendan Ricciardi with you here from Corey Field. It's an overcast Monday afternoon, but the playoffs are here, Brendan.
Yeah, it's great to be here. You know, I think that both of these teams, with the way that this rivalry has been the last few years, Bonner has really taken over, but these teams haven't faced off in the playoffs. So I'm wondering if, for O'Hara's sake, they're kind of able to put that narrative behind them and say, hey, in terms of playoffs, this is a fresh slate. Nothing that matters in the regular season, or nothing that happened in the regular season really matters, and today it's all about just winning one game.
Well, it's no secret that both of these teams do not like each other. They faced a few weeks ago where Bonner won that matchup against Cardinal O'Hara 1-0. It was a pitcher's duel. Do you expect the same here today, Brendan?
So, yes and no, because it's not the same exact pitching matchup. Danny Buckton's still going for Bonner. Looks like Colin Thomas, a sophomore, for O'Hara. So I'm curious. It depends what perspective you take, because for O'Hara, they have already seen Buckton before, but from what they saw, they didn't exactly, perform. And for Colin Thomas' sake, a sophomore being thrown out against this Bonner lineup, I'm not necessarily expecting a 1-0 game, but I'm still not exactly expecting a slugfest.
Well, the two starters today, as Brendan had mentioned, Colin Thomas will get the start for Cardinal O'Hara, Danny Buckton for Bonner. And we're getting ready again for first pitch coming up here at Corey Field on the campus of Bonner High School. Again, should be a good one, good pitching matchup, and really just a great day for playoff baseball. We'll take a break here on Delco Baseball Now and be back with the game action first pitch. Get your lineups as well on the other side of this quick break. Welcome back to Corey Field. Let's get you the starting lineups for O'Hara versus Bonner coming up in just a few moments here on Delco Baseball Now's YouTube channel. First, we'll give you the starting lineup for the Cardinal O'Hara Lions. Again, the 10 seed in the PCL playoffs. Colin Thomas will lead it off. He'll also be the starting pitcher on the mound for the Lions, followed by Jack Quinn, Connor Clark, Nate Evert, Vinny Mancini, Jason Niwaz, Joey Thompson, Jake Steigerwalt, and Sean Vaughn. Again, the 9 for O'Hara: Thomas, Quinn, Clark, Evert, Mancini, Niwaz, Thompson, Steigerwalt, and Vaughn will be the 9, and they will face the starting pitcher on the hill, Danny Buckton, the senior who started the most recent game against Cardinal O'Hara between these two teams. Again, that was that 1-0 win we talked about in the quick open. Buckton pitched 7 innings, the complete game, 6 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts for Buckton.
Yeah, he was a little slow to start the season, but we're starting now to see what made him so dominant at the end of last season. I think last season he kind of didn't have too much pressure on him. They had Mike Lewanski, they had Johnny Ortega. They had all these guys ahead of him that he could kind of come in and be that, middle reliever, late inning guy. But this year he kind of went in as the number 1 pitcher, and that's a big adjustment. It's an adjustment in terms of the pressure. It's an adjustment in terms of the workload. I think early on in the season he was struggling a bit, but he has been outstanding towards the second half of the season. Was a tough luck loser his last time out against Egan on Wednesday. Lost 1-0. The run scored in the first inning was all that Egan was able to get, but when you're facing a guy like Brady Guzzi for Egan, 1 run is clearly enough, and should Bonner win, that's who they would face again on Wednesday. But it seems like Buckton has really settled in. He's pounding the zone, trusting the defense, and for the defense, freshman shortstop Chase D'Ambrosio. The last time we were here on April 15th, we talked about it. He was one of the stars of that Media Little League team that went to Williamsport back in 2023, now starting as a freshman here for Bonner, and they gave him that Kevin McGonigal number 5, so I think that shows what they think of him.
The pitching stats overall this season on Buckton are also pretty solid. He is 2-2 with a 2.22 earned run average in 8 appearances, 34 2/3 of an inning, 31 strikeouts, 17 walks in those 34 innings. And we are just about ready to go. The DJ in center field is ready for us. And looks like we are ready to go. Good crowd on hand. Danny Buckton is ready to throw his first pitch as Colin Thomas steps into the batter's box. We are almost ready for action here from Corey Field on this overcast Monday. Again, glad you could join us here on Delco Baseball Now's YouTube channel. We'll get you the defensive alignment for Bonner coming up in just a moment, but we are ready. First pitch from the Bonner southpaw is outside to Colin Thomas. The alignment for the home team, the Friars: Albarano, Lockhart, Friel, left to right in the outfield. Brown, D'Ambrosio, Coleman, and DeRita, left to right in the infield. And Cole Romano does the catching for Danny Buckton. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Lined into left field for a base hit. Good start for the Lions. This ball is going to roll all the way into the corner. Cut off by Albarano. Thomas wants two. The cutoff throw is not in time. What a start for the visiting Lions as Thomas will roll in a second with a stand-up double.
That's how you give yourself some support early on. Now, this will be very interesting for O'Hara because the first time these two teams met, they had the bases loaded with, I believe, either no outs or 1 out, and they weren't able to get any runs. So if they're able to get any runs across in the top of the first, that'll be very big for the confidence.
A good start for Colin Thomas to potentially help himself out, and looks like we will get the courtesy runner for the pitcher, Thomas, and that will bring up Jack Quinn, the center fielder for O'Hara. And this is a team that overall this season is under 500, 8-12, 4-8 in conference play are the Lions. But some offensive pieces definitely there for O'Hara.
Looks like Nicholas Gotoski will be the courtesy runner, not pinch runner, courtesy runner for the pitcher here.
So runner on second, nobody out. Buckton just 2 pitches in and allows the extra base hit. Jack Quinn, the center fielder, stands in from the right batter's box. First pitch from Buckton, again swung at, chopped on the ground over to second. Coleman's got it. His throw to first is in time, but basically works as a bunt as the courtesy runner will advance to third with only 1 away.
Yeah, it's probably not necessarily what Quinn would have wanted, but it gets the job done here, and if they're able to get that run in, just getting on the board early, kind of, the crowd hasn't exactly fully filled in yet, but just kind of, getting the crowd on your side, right?
So 1 out, and here's Connor Clark, the shortstop for the Lions. And first pitch here, swinging again. He fouls this pitch off towards the first base dugout. A lot of first pitch swinging early for the Lions.
Yeah, they know Buckton's going to pound the zone, and in a game like this, you're not exactly, worried too much about pitch count. You're just trying to get as many runs as you can.
Connor Clark 0 for 3 against Buckton in that first matchup. 0-1 pitch, swung at, hit in the air, shallow center field. D'Ambrosio is back. He'll make the catch, and Goteski will not test the arm of D'Ambrosio. And there's 2 outs, so a good out there for Danny Buckton. I'll bring up Nate Everett, the DH for Cardinal O'Hara, but even after Buckton allowed the leadoff double, he's really settled in, and he hasn't thrown a ton of pitches in this inning. Everett this season, a 186 hitter. For Cardinal O'Hara, stands in to face the lefty. Again, 2 outs, runner at third for the Lions. First pitch here from Buckton is just a bit outside, 1-0. We're set up broadcasting here in the right field, we'll just call it porch.
Yeah, say the corner. We're out of play. So
if
if a ball hits us, we're all right. If Ryan Friel runs into the table, we apologize. But in terms of the ball hitting us, we are out of play.
A 1-0 pitch is upstairs on a fastball from Buckton. It's 2-0. So Buckton falls behind Everett with Vinny Mancini on deck for O'Hara.
It's a very young O'Hara lineup, but a very talented one. They don't have too much pop as a whole, but they're a very good bat-to-ball team, and I think with a pitcher like Buckton, that bodes well for them. That they're going to get a lot of strikes, and they're going to swing. I don't anticipate too many strikeouts from their side.
The 2-0 pitch to Everett, swung on again, popped up in the infield. Second baseman Coleman calls for it, tiptoes into the outfield grass, and makes the third and final out of the inning. So a couple of pop-ups to get Danny Buckton out of the first after the leadoff double from Colin Thomas. We'll see Thomas back on the hill after this, headed to the bottom of the first inning here at Corey Field. Welcome back to Bonner High School here at Corey Field. A scoreless first inning for Danny Buckton, able to work out of trouble after the leadoff double from Colin Thomas. And now Colin Thomas, the sophomore, will take the mound for Cardinal O'Hara. We'll get you his stats in just a moment. Here's the lineup he'll face for Bonner. Jack Brown will lead it off, the third baseman, followed by Jack Coleman, Gavin Dorita. Ryan Friel will hit cleanup. Owen Lockhart, Cole Romano, Luke Albarano, Sean Erickson, and Chase D'Ambrosio will round out the starting nine for Coach DeBarbery. Again, Brown, Coleman, Dorita, Friel, Lockhart, Romano, Albarano, Erickson, and D'Ambrosio. Again, we'll face the sophomore who gets the start here in the PCL playoffs wildcard round.
Yeah, and for the Bonner lineup, I know that this team did not live up to their expectations. The reigning PCL champions just went 6-6 in the PCL season, but what these guys do have is experience. A lot of these starters are back from the team that won the PCL championship last year, and the one thing that they have going for them is that they've been here before. Ryan Friel, Gavin Dorita, Owen Lockhart, Cole Romano, all these guys were starting for this team last year and watched this team dominate the PCL playoffs last year. And all season long, I've kind of been saying that they feel like a flip-the-switch team. In 4 of their last 5 games, they've scored 10 or more runs. The one game they didn't was facing Virginia recruit Brady Guzzi. I do believe that their offense as a whole is back, and I believe that with the experience these guys have had, the moment won't be too big for them.
Well, Bonner, as you mentioned, you touched on there, Brendan, has won 6 of its last 7 games. The Friars have outscored their opponents 58-15 in those 7 games. So it goes to show you that the Friars are playing good baseball at the right time. Bottom of the first, here we go. Colin Thomas is on the hill. He's pitched in 19 2/3 of an inning. His first pitch to Brown is fouled back to the screen. Good cut there by the Bonner third baseman.
And coaching and talking to Coach DeBarbery, which we did at the first game of the week, it was kind of a question for the coaching staff of why wasn't this team winning games? And I think it really came down to starting pitching. The lineup wasn't performing great, but the starting pitching has gotten a lot better.
The 0-1 pitch from Thomas is hit in the air, fouled back over the Bonner dugout, so it's quickly 0-2. Opponents are hitting just 167 this season against Colin Thomas. Again, 19 2/3 of an inning, 31 strikeouts for the sophomore. Fastball will top out in the lower to mid-80s. Also has a curveball that we'll see expectingly a lot today against these Bonner hitters, try to keep them off task.
Looked like we saw a little bit of a changeup in the bullpen as well.
Pitch from Thomas, lined, left field side. It's foul into the Bonner bullpen. So it stays 0-2 to Jack Brown, leading us off. Brown, a 196 hitter this season, 11 hits overall, 5 RBIs, including 1 extra base hit. But again, this is a Bonner lineup that has found its strides recently, averaging almost 6 runs per game this season. But again, outscored their opponents 58-15 in the last 7 contests.
I think there were a lot of names that they had to replace, whether that be Michael Coleman went to Gettysburg, Sergio Hernandez transferred to Pencrest. They had some guys. Jack Redding was another one where a lot of the core is back, but I think it took them a little to figure out what their best 9 was, and I think they've clearly found that now.
And on the pitching side of things, no Johnny Ortega for Bonner, who was such a consistent ace there at the top of this pitching staff. The 1-2 pitch from Thomas, breaking ball, fouled back. Good cut there again from Jack Brown.
Yeah, him and Mike Klowanski last year, they're both first-team All-Delco for us. Of course, Corey Sheridan didn't really pitch too much, but just another, D1 presence on their team. And I think this year is kind of just figuring out who's going to be our number 2 and our number 3 behind Buckton.
Good battle here from Jack Brown at the top of the lineup. Nobody out in the bottom of the first. The 1-2 pitch from Thomas just missed, a little bit upstairs. So it's even now, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, from where we are, it's a bit tough to see in and out. We can see up and down. So it's we're kind of just going off of the ump's discretion.
A big hole on the right side of the infield. We'll get you the defensive alignment in just a moment. Thomas takes a long pause. It's 2-2, chopped on the ground, right back to the hill. Thomas got it. His throw to first is in time to get a hustling Jack Brown for the first out, but a good battle from the Bonner leadoff hitter. Defensive alignment for O'Hara, Michael Brown, who is not in the batting lineup. He is the left fielder, followed by Quinn in center, Vaughn in right field, Mancini at third, Clark at short, Thompson at second, Steigerwalt at first base, and Niwaz does the catching for Colin Thomas. And that's the way the O'Hara Lions will line up. Again, O'Hara the 10 seed in the PCL playoffs, Bonner the 7 seed. Jack Coleman steps in, righty-righty, first pitch. Big swing and a miss there as Colin Thomas just overpowered Coleman.
Well, there's going to be a little extra juice here. As I might have mentioned the pregame, Jack Coleman on O'Hara last year, transferred to Bonner this year. I don't think the O'Hara guys are going to forget about that one.
Coleman, a .233 hitter this season, 65 plate appearances, 14 hits, and 4 RBIs. The 0-1 fastball hit him on the helmets. So a one-out base runner for the Friars, and a little bit of juice there, I think, indeed.
I don't think that was
for
intentional,
Thomas.
but it was kind of funny timing. Well, to be fair, I don't even think Thomas was on varsity as a freshman last year, so I'd assume there wasn't much ill will there.
And now Thomas, he'll be walked down. I'm sorry, Coleman will be walked down to first base by the first base umpire, and I think the umpires definitely have an idea that there's some history there. Again, I doubt it was intentional from the sophomore Thomas, but looks like a one-out base runner, and the tension already starts here at Corey Field.
I'll say this. With this Bonner 3 and 4 in the order with Gavin Dorita and Ryan Friel, I don't think there was the intention to put base runners on here.
No, not at all. Want to limit base runners against an offense like this, and this is perhaps the most dangerous hitter in the Bonner lineup. It's Gavin Dorita. And the first pitch from Thomas Dorita upstairs goes to the backstop behind Niwaz, and it's an easy trot down to second for Jack Coleman.
I think you could also make an argument most dangerous hitter in all of Delco this year. I think he's one of the few players, if not the only one, to be hitting over 500 or right around it this year.
So Dorita has played in all 20 games, 500 batting average, 54 at-bats, 27 hits, 16 RBIs, 3 doubles, 2 triples. He's looking for that first homer. Will be a good moment for one here in the wild card round.
I will say his first homer last year was against LaSalle in that PCL semi, so it's definitely
and that was
possible.
a moonshot
That was a bomb
from Dorita.
Were you at that game?
I was.
That's right.
Yeah, at MSI. That was
That's
a
right,
great game, great place to host a baseball game as well.
Especially because both semis were going on at the same time, right?
1 ball, no strikes the count to Gavin Dorita, the Bonner first baseman. Runner in scoring position, first of the day for the Friars. After the hit-by pitch to Coleman, the 1-0 pitch from Thomas, inside, 2-0. And with an open base at first base, Brendan, you have to think that Thomas is going to pitch extra carefully to Dorita.
You know, I would agree, in the most part, but also with Friel on deck, you kind of have to pick and choose who you're going to be. It's kind of like Schwarber and Harper back-to-back. You got to be a little cautious.
2-0, popped up in the infield. This could really help Thomas out if it stays in. Mancini towards the dugout, and it hits off top of the Bonner dugout, so it's 2-1. Definitely could have helped Dorita out, and I think the groundhogs that are here and the birds just to our left above the O'Hara, or on the O'Hara side of things. A lot of wildlife here at Corey Field.
I can't tell if they're gophers, woodchucks, or groundhogs, but they're here to play ball today.
2 balls and a strike to Gavin Dorita. Coleman takes his lead off a second. In the dirt, and it bounced away from Niwaz. Easy trot down to third for Jack Coleman, and the first run of the day is potentially just 90 feet away for the Friars. And right now you can see it looks like Thomas is just simply overthrowing everything. The fastball is very elevated, and the breaking ball just really doesn't have a ton of control right now. Doesn't have a ton of just command of the off-speed pitches. 3 balls and a strike. Hitters count for Dorita. Thomas from the stretch. Good swing there from Dorita. Fouls it back. So it's full with Ryan Friel on deck.
Now, Friel missed the last week with a knee injury, but obviously out here today. I'm curious kind of what his, health overall is. I mean, imagine 100% is not the case.
And Friel, a really dangerous hitter in his own right, hitting above 400. Thomas has to focus on Dorita here, and he gets a swing and a miss. Nice comeback there from the sophomore Colin Thomas.
And it looks like he went with that off-speed there, and I think it kind of fooled Dorita because I don't think that Dorita thought he would have the confidence to throw it 3-2. So great pitch there from Colin Thomas, and 1 pitch away from getting out of it.
So here comes Ryan Friel. Steps into the batter's box from the left-handed side. Runner at third for Bonner. It's Jack Coleman over there after the 1-out hit by pitch. There are now 2 outs, and the first pitch from Thomas drops in for a strike. Inning started with a ground out back to the pitcher's mound from Jack Brown. Then Coleman was hit by a pitch, a 1-0 fastball, and then Dorita struck out swinging after a long battle with Thomas. And now it's no balls and a strike to Friel. The pitch fouled back off the umpire and maybe even got a piece of Niwaz. It's 0-2. Ryan Friel, of course, a big part of this reigning PCL champion roster for the Friars.
Yeah, and he was our offensive player of the year just in all of Delaware County last year.
Just stands in with that opposing stance from the left side. The pitch from Thomas inside, 1-2.
The playoff run he had last year, I believe he was 14 for 21 for Bonner
so
in their
impressive.
7-ish, 6 or so games.
And it just seems like even when he's down in the count like he is here, he just has great plate vision, and just great composure at the plate. Doesn't get too aggressive, doesn't get too swing happy, and really commands the zone. The 1-2 fouled back over the O'Hara dugout, over the Bonner dugout. It stays 1-2. Good cut there. I mean, so far out of the first 4 batters in the Bonner lineup, we've seen some pretty good swings.
Yeah, he'll be heading to Frederick Community College in Maryland next year. Didn't find the NCAA fit that he was looking for. Give you another year to get stronger, just get a ton of at-bats. They play a huge season over there in the JUCO world.
And you see a lot of players go that route, trying to get into college ball. The 1-2 fouled back, NCAA ball, I should say. Again, I think got a piece of the home plate umpire, maybe even Niwaz, so it stays 1 ball and 2 strikes. Again, 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. Scoreless game here, the PCL playoffs. Bonner last year talked about it. They were the PCL champions in that win against Ryan at Rutgers Camden. Overall, the Friars were 18-7 last year. Just a tremendous season for the Friars. Thomas looks back the runner at third, comes set. His 1-2 pitch to Friel. He got him. Swing and a miss. The sophomore Colin Thomas with back-to-back Ks. We've played 1 full inning here at Corey Field. Scoreless here in the PCL playoffs. Almost ready to go here in the top of the second. Before we get back to the action, let's go over to Brendan with some score updates around Delco. Brendan, take it away.
Well, it's a big day in the District 1 world because it's the last day of the Central League season. Marple leading Strathaven 3-0. Haverford trying to get their undefeated season. They are leading Ridley 1-0, and we'll share some more in between outs.
Sounds good. 1 ball, no strikes to Vinny Mancini, the third baseman for O'Hara. Scoreless game here in the PCL playoffs. Wild card round. Danny Buckton on the hill. Allowed a double to start the game, but since then really settled in. The 1-0 hit hard through the middle and into center field for a base hit. So Vinny Mancini with a leadoff base runner. Back-to-back innings with a leadoff hit for O'Hara. Good swing there from Mancini.
Yeah, he's been one of their most reliable hitters. I believe a sophomore, could be a freshman. They have a very young lineup. A couple other scores. Conestoga looking to make the playoffs. They lead Upper Darby 6-0. Lower Merion and Garnet are scoreless, and Lower Merion might be in even if they lose, but a win will definitely get them in. Harriton Springfield scoreless. Chichester leads Sun Valley 3-0.
Here is the catcher, Jason Niwaz for O'Hara. First pitch here from Buckton. Chopped on the ground, over to short. Could be 2. D'Ambrosio bobbled it, lost it, and could never recover. So an E6 on D'Ambrosio, and the Lions are in business here in the second. Tough play for the freshman shortstop.
Yeah, and I think he kind of started to rush, thinking that he needed to get the double play, so he kind of picked his head up to see where Jack Coleman was and kind of just took his eye off it a little bit while trying to make that transfer over.
DiPietro comes into courtesy run for the catcher Niwaz. So runners on first and second for the Lions with nobody out. Danny Buckton looking towards the home plate umpire, is heading towards Coach Benedict and the Cardinal O'Hara dugout. Not sure what they're talking about.
I heard someone from the O'Hara dugout say, "We just got a warning," so I'm assuming it was something about different chirps or something.
Well, these 2 teams don't like each other. I said that in the open. That's clear. You could argue biggest rival is this rivalry here between O'Hara and Bonner. So a lefty steps into the batter's box. It's Joey Thompson, the second baseman. Thompson this season, a .260 hitter. He's also just a freshman, Brendan. Just so many underclassmen in the lineup for O'Hara, but a team that has really swung it pretty well this year.
Yeah, and we talk a lot about that Media team that went to Williamsport. Joey was on the Aston Middletown team that they beat, who if Media didn't beat them, that Aston team might have gone all the way to Williamsport as well.
Thompson shows bunt, pulls it back. Both runners scrambling back towards their bases.
Because that Aston Middletown team had won the state each of the last 2 years before, and then they lost to Media. So I think that game might have been the best two teams in Pennsylvania. And a lot of those kids are getting varsity innings as a freshman. Austin Crowley for Malvern, Christian Nunez for Pencrest. It's very cool to see guys we cover when they were 12.
The 1-0 pitch from Buckton. Thompson shows bunt, gets it down third base side, rolling foul, and it is foul. So 1-1 to Thompson. Do you like the idea to bunt here? I mean, I know the first game was 1-0, but you have to think both aces really aren't on the hill for these two teams today. So potentially, good score. It's good to see some more runs being scored.
Yeah, I would say that as a whole, I do agree with it. But also, both these teams have kind of struggled with the runners in scoring position with 1 or 2 outs. I kind of wonder if the better bet is just let them swing.
Really good crowd on hand too. I mean, the crowd earlier obviously stuck in traffic. You have to think, but. Really good crowd lining all the way from left center to right field.
You're coming from Philly. I'm coming from Westchester. Not the most ideal.
1 ball, 1 strike the count. Let's see if Thompson shows bunt again with runners on first and second. The infield comes crashing in. It's a bunt, but fouled back. So it's 1-2. What does Thompson do here behind in the count with 2 strikes?
I'm assuming not lay the bunt down again, but we'll see. It's tough with the lefty-lefty matchup.
So you have Mancini at second, DiPietro, the courtesy runner, at first. Back-to-back base runners. Still nobody out here in the top half of the second inning. Cardinal O'Hara threatening against Danny Buckton for the second straight inning. Buckton's been in a jam. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. Buckton looks back Mancini. Chopped on the ground. Back to Buckton. His only play is to first, so pretty much works as a bunt for Joey Thompson. And there are now 2 runners in scoring position for the Lions.
And that right there is what great hitters do, because you don't get the bunt down the first 2 times. It's very easy to kind of mentally take yourself out of the at-bat and just kind of think to yourself like, oh, I messed up, like I'm going to get out, I'm going to strike out. It's all about how you talk to yourself. But to be able to just put the ball in play and do exactly what it would have done, no coach is going to get too mad at you if at the end of the at-bat you did exactly what they asked you to do.
Well, a pretty big spot for Steigerwalt the Jr., just hitting 162 this season. Does have 8 RBIs. He's the first baseman. Jake Steigerwalt stands in from the right-handed batter's box. First pitch in there for a called strike.
And he, for a lineup that is not built around power, he is the thump in this order. He had a grand slam against Pope John Paul a couple weeks ago. He had one in our game of the week against Carroll a couple years ago. So he's kind of the thump hidden at the bottom of this order.
Cardinal O'Hara only has 1 home run this season. It was that home run from Steigerwalt. Behind in the count, the 0-1 on the inside corner for a strike. It's 0-2. Can Buckton work out of another early jam with 1 out? Runners on second and third. Again, Mancini at third with decent speed. DiPietro at second. The 0-2 pitch from Buckton. Lashed in the air, out to deep left field. Albarano's back. It's over his head on a hop. A ground rule double for Jake Steigerwalt. And there's the power. Mancini scores, and so does DiPietro. It's 2-0 Lions.
It's a great swing from Steigerwalt. I think Buckton's going to want that one back. That was an 0-2 pitch that he just left 2 up. I thought he was going to kind of spike one in the dirt, which with the runner on second and third, it was a bit risky, but he hopped all over that one.
Just a great swing there from Steigerwalt. It was behind in the count. No balls, 2 strikes. So only 1 out. And here's Sean Vaughn, the 9-hole hitter for the Lions. Again, this Cardinal O'Hara team averages about 4.5 runs per game, which is a full run under what Bonner averages this season. But a lineup that can definitely swing it. Vaughn this season, an .075 hitter at the plate. First pitch from Buckton, big cut and a miss. Already 3 hits against Buckton today for the Lions. 2 doubles and a single from Mancini. 4 total base runners against Danny today. 2-0 lead for the Lions. No balls and a strike. 1 out. Buckton looks back Steigerwalt. Comes home outside. 1-1. Good block there from Romano. Not a ton of room behind the plate here, but you have to think it could take a weird bounce, especially with how that fence is kind of tarped.
Yeah, it's a short backstop, but it's kind of angled. So if it hits, I've played here enough that if it kind of hits a spot, it can roll up the baseline. So it absolutely a wild pitch contender.
1 ball, 1 strike the count with 1 out. Buckton's pitch outside. It's 2-1. Did you like to play at this field, Brendan?
So the infield is overall pretty good. I haven't played much in the outfield. I like it when the sun can get in your eyes as a hitter, but I like the batter's eye. So I'd say I like to hit here.
Well, the sun is not a problem today. An overcast Monday. Buckton looks back the runner from second, 2-1, check swing, high fastball, and Vaughn did not go, so it's 3-1. Hitters count for Vaughn.
I've actually been here at some games where they have to take a sun break because of how directly it is in the hitter and the catcher's eye. It gets dangerous, but as a whole, most of the time I've played here has mostly been as a DH, so I can't speak too much about the quality, but it seems like a pretty
Just spent some good times in the dugout.
Oh, absolutely. It's a nice dugout. I can say that.
3 balls and a strike. Buckton steps off. Little miscommunication perhaps there with Romano. Runner at second is Steigerwald. He had the big hit so far in this game. The 2 RBI double just a moment ago over Albarano's head in left center. Fence is fairly shallow here, 320 left to right, 380 at straightaway center field, and the pitch from Buckton. There's a strike, so it's full.
Just wait until it's turf and it's Kevin McGonigal Field within the next couple of years.
McGonigal, we were talking about off air, definitely has the money to get the naming rights.
And I will too if he wins the Rookie of the Year.
3 balls, 2 strikes the count. Steigerwald takes his lead off a second. Still only 1 away. Colin Thomas waits on deck. Buckton, long pause. Here comes the lefty's pitch. Popped up. Way up there, first base side, but well into the trees. Watch out, the groundhogs back behind the plate.
They're everywhere.
Or the squirrels. I'm sure there are plenty of squirrels there in the trees.
Well, if my mom's listening, she hates squirrels, so she wouldn't mind if they
Really?
got
Why?
hit. Because they attack her. Penn State has
the squirrels attack your mom?
Penn State has a lot of squirrels, and they are vicious.
They've attacked your mother?
Yes, they're vicious. And they've also broken into our old house in media, too.
Okay. All right. 3 balls and 2 strikes to count. I guess that's fair.
Yeah. It feels targeted, that's all.
Here comes the pitch to Vaughn. Buckton, long pause again, comes home, hit on the ground, into center field for a base hit. Steigerwald will have to hold on at third base after getting the stop sign, but Sean Vaughn comes through, and the runner's on the corners for the Lions. It's the 3rd hit of the inning for O'Hara, the 4th of the day, and looks like we might get a mound visit here from Buckton, or for Buckton, as Cole Romano comes out to the hill. Colin Thomas is coming up for O'Hara, and this is obviously a big spot in this game. Already have 2 runs in, still only 1 away, and Thomas had one of the best hit baseballs so far today, other than the double from Steigerwald. He doubled down the left field line in his first at-bat.
Yeah, I was curious if they were going to send Steigerwald. I think it would have been a fairly close play, but I think for Coach Rob Benedict, the mentality is that you have your arguably best hitter coming up, and with runners in scoring position, I think there's a good chance Vaughn takes off with his speed to get 2 runners in scoring position. So we'll see if that's the decision it's made. It's harder with a lefty on the mound to get that runner over to second, but I would be surprised if, maybe not on the first pitch, but if at some point they don't try and steal.
Long mound visit here. We'll see if Buckton stays in this game. You would imagine he is, Brendan, but a long pause.
Yeah, and I'm not exactly sure who next in relief would be. That's kind of been an issue for Bonner this season, is who's their second most reliable arm. It could be Jake Gorman. It could be Jack Coleman. I'm not exactly sure. It could be Owen Lockhart coming in from center field as well.
Well, the good news is Buckton's staying in this game. For O'Hara, just want to talk about their season a little bit. 8-12 overall for the Lions. 6-13 overall last year, but a team that really got off to a scorching hot start in PCL play. Then really struggled at the end of the year. The offense pretty much went silent, 6-6. This year, as the runner goes from first, the throw down from Romano skips up to D'Ambrosio, not in time, and Steigerwald also did an attempt to go home. So 2nd and 3rd with only 1 away for O'Hara. Good decision there by Vaughn to put the wheels in motion. But O'Hara, again, this season, more overall wins for the Lions. A little bit worse of a season in conference play, but looking to win this game against Bonner and advance. They would play the 1 seed LaSalle if Cardinal O'Hara were to win this game. The 1-0 skips in front of Romano. Here comes Steigerwald. The throw from Romano and the flip to Buckton is in time. Nice play by Romano. Got a good carom, and Buckton applies the tag. And that's exactly what Bonner needed to get some momentum back on their side.
I mean, that just took the perfect Bonner hop off the backstop right into the glove of Cole Romano. I don't blame Steigerwald for going. I think if that bounced any other which way, then he would have been there. So it's just, and at least for Vaughn's sake, he got over to third base. Just unlucky break. I mean, you have to tip your cap to Bonner for being able to get that play done.
Really no argument from Coach Benedict in the O'Hara dugout. So just 2 outs now for Colin Thomas, 1 ball and a strike, and now the home plate umpire will dust off home plate
Also,
after that collision.
My mom would like to make a correction. The Squirrels broke in the house twice.
Okay, that's an important clarification.
Twice in our Wallingford house.
What's really funny is at Villanova, I always say potentially they're the opposite of squirrels, I guess city squirrels, quote unquote. Villanova squirrels will come up to you, and maybe that's the case at Penn State.
Friendly?
But you be very friendly. Like, they like the attention. I don't know if it's something in the mainline water or
the Penn State
ones
were a little too friendly.
Fouled back here from Thomas, so it's 1-2.
Also, for that play at the plate, we're about 325 feet away, so we didn't really have a good look. It looked like, at the very least, the ball beat him there. So it's kind of tough to see.
I think he was out. Yeah. I mean, again, we are 300 and I'll call it 21 feet away, just beyond the fence. But very, very close play, and obviously a good hop there for Romano and Bonner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Buckton looking to end the inning here. 1-2, hit on the ground hard. Over to second. A good hop there for Coleman. He'll throw it to Dorita in time for the 3rd and final out. But the Lions send 6 batters to the plate and score 2 runs. Let's see if Bonner has an answer. Headed to the bottom of the 2nd here on Delco Baseball Now. Right back after this. Bottom of the 2nd we go here at Corey Field. Good start for the Lions after scoring 2 runs in the top half of the 2nd inning after the big double from Jake Steigerwald over the head of Luke Albarano in the left center field gap. Let's see if Bonner has a response. Still early in this one. Owen Lockhart, Cole Romano, and Luke Albarano are the 3 scheduled hitters for the Friars, and they'll face Colin Thomas. Brendan, what were your thoughts on Thomas's first inning?
I think, as you mentioned early on in the inning, he was having a bit of difficulty locating the off-speed pitch. I think he really found it on that 3-2 pitch to Gavin Dorita where he threw it for a strike and he got him swinging. And same thing, he got Ryan Friel swinging. So I think, you're a sophomore. You're playing in a rivalry playoff game on the road against the team that just won the conference last year. It's okay to have some nerves and maybe not be sharp right away, but I think those 2 runs of offense will definitely help settle him down too.
First pitch to Lockhart. Big swing, but fouled back. A little bit late there was Lockhart, the center fielder for the Friars. This season, Lockhart has a .294 batting average, another really close to .300 batting average in this Bonner lineup. 14 RBIs, 15 hits. The 0-1 pitch to Lockhart popped up. Shallow right field. The second baseman Thompson has it now, creeping back to the infield dirt, and he'll make the first out here of inning 2. A lot of pop-ups so far, Brendan, and luckily the wind has not really been tough on the infielders or outfielders to this point. Really not a breezy day at all. Very comfortable weather, even though it is overcast. Not much sun peeking out over our heads right now. It's 60 degrees. Feels like 57. Slight breeze, about 5 to 10 miles per hour.
You know what I just noticed is the PA announcer's just reading the Bonner names, which I'm not
Yes,
sure I've ever seen a PA announcer just read one side.
I've seen it. Yeah,
Really?
yeah. At Pennsbury earlier this year, Pennsbury High School, they do the same thing, just the home lineup.
Interesting.
And we didn't get a chance to talk about a whole lot, but there is a DJ in straightaway center field that is 400 and I'll give it 25 feet from home plate beyond the batter's eye. But I don't know if I've ever seen a high school team have a DJ.
Well, he's safe unless Kevin McGonigal comes back because he's pretty up
I said
there.
that a few times today.
Yeah.
I hope my car is safe.
Yeah, that's what I told you when parking. I'm like, you should be all right.
But the DJ is pretty cool. Now, the music, of course, not happening during the innings, but he's ready to go in between innings here at Corey Field. 1 ball and a strike to Cole Romano. Thomas comes set. Through the windup. Big swing and a miss there from Romano. It's 1-2. And Brendan, you just take a look at the middle of this order. Owen Lockhart, Cole Romano are more guys at the bottom of the lineup last year for Bonner, and they've really moved up, taking more of that leadership role and also more of a role just overall offensively this season.
Yeah, and Romano's definitely, kind of like I said with Steigerwald, the overall numbers may not wow you, but he's just got that raw power that, you know, he's a threat. I know he homered in the Malvern Prep game we were at a couple weeks ago. We did the Dollar Dog Day, and just has that pop wherever exactly we are in the order. I forget, probably 6-ish.
He's a 6-hole hitter for Bonner, yep. Hitting 196 this season, but definitely still has some pop. He has 2 home runs for Bonner. Bonner as a team has 4 homers, 2 of them from Romano, 1 from Raffensperger, and 1 from Erickson.
We will adjust that camera when we can after the foul ball.
2-2 pitch is a called. Strike 3. Third strikeout of the game for the sophomore Colin Thomas. And Thomas cruising right now through 2. Here's Luke Albarano, the left fielder for Bonner, the sophomore. What a season he's having, hitting .260 this year with 7 RBIs, 13 hits for Albarano, the left fielder. He's the 7-hole hitter. With 2 away, bases empty as the sun comes out. 2-0 lead for the Lions. First pitch from Thomas, whacked foul. I believe off the umpire again, so it's 0-1. So, again, we apologize. Setup got hit by one of those foul balls in the last at-bat by Cole Romano, but it appears to be the camera's okay, just a slanted view. So, apologize for that. We'll get that fixed for you in a moment. But 2 quick outs here in the second for Thomas. Pop up to from Lockhart's bat, and then Romano struck out looking. Now, it's no balls and a strike to Albarano. Pitch from Thomas, popped up. First base side, another pop-up. Steigerwald is over. Shallow right field, and Thompson comes in to make the catch. The Wind did have a good adventure there for Thompson on that play, but he makes the catch. Made 2 pop-up catches in the second inning. 3 up, 3 down for Bonner. Headed to the third inning here on Delco Baseball Now. 2-0 lead for O'Hara here in the PCL wildcard round. Two to nothing lead for the visiting Lions, the 10 seed, as they look to upset the number 7 Bonner Friars. Good start for O'Hara, but obviously still a long way to go. A good crowd that is very much in favor of the Friars. Great fan bases for both of these teams and 2 big rivals in Delco. So such a great atmosphere here on this middle of May, Monday. The high school season beginning to wind down, and as to the NCAA season beginning to wind down, but summer baseball picking up, of course, around the major leagues. Danny Buckton back to work here in the third inning. He'll face the top of the order for O'Hara. Quinn, Clark, and Everett, 2, 3, and 4 due up for the Lions. Tough second inning for Buckton. He allowed the 2 runs, also 6 batters to the plate for O'Hara. Big swing and a miss here. Good breaking ball from Buckton to begin the at-bat to Quinn. Quinn grounded out to second base in his first at-bat. Very rare that you see 4 hits in the first 2 innings against Buckton. Overall, 5 base runners. There was an error last inning as well, made by the shortstop D'Ambrosio. The 0-1, big cut and a miss again there from Quinn. So it's 0-2 in favor of Danny Buckton. Again, both of these teams faced off midway through the season this year. It was a 1-0 win for Bonner here at Corey Field, and the Friars looking to, once again, take the game against the Lions. Fastball way upstairs here. It's 1-2. Buckton overthrew that pitch. But what a last couple years it's been for Danny Buckton. Another really strong year for the Friars Southpaw. Last year was a big reason why Bonner had so much success in the second half of the season, including winning the PCL championship against Ryan. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Buckton in the dirt, 2-2. O'Hara has really done a nice job, though, at making Buckton work. Really, unlike the first game against Buckton, the approach has been much more to see some pitches. Buckton has not walked anybody yet, but there's been a couple deep counts, especially with just O'Hara hitters fouling off, spoiling pitches. Outfielders playing pretty much at normal depth. The wind begins to pick up. Actually, it's a train, I believe. The 2-2 is inside. It's 3-2, just near the Upper Darby train station here. Train tracks behind us here at Corey Field over the O'Hara side of things on the first base side. I was driving in, saw a lot of the school students waiting for the train, and obviously a busy terminal. 3 balls, 2 strikes. O'Hara looking for another leadoff base runner against Buckton. And the pitch, hit on the ground, over to third, tough hop on Brown, skips into left field as D'Ambrosio picks it up but has no play. His throw gets past to Rita at first base, but Quinn will put on the brakes there. So another leadoff base runner for O'Hara, and that just took a really tough hop on the third baseman, Brown. See how they score it. They don't have hits or errors on the board, so I'll score it myself. I'll score it a single for Jack Quinn. That was a really hard-hit baseball. Tough play and good effort there from D'Ambrosio, who picked it up, somehow got to that baseball after it was deflected off of Brown and didn't really have a chance at a play, but a good effort there by D'Ambrosio to just keep the ball in the infield. Throw did get past to Rita, but Quinn does not advance. So here's Connor Clark, the shortstop, who popped up to D'Ambrosio in his first at-bat. Clark this season a .345 hitter, has 6 doubles, 13 RBIs. He is really the most dangerous hitter in this Lions order, and Clark just a junior. First pitch to him is hit in the air pretty well out to center field. Lockhart has a beat on it in front of the fans in the batter's eye. He'll make the catch for the first out here at the top of the third. Hard hit baseball there for Clark, but right to Lockhart as Owen really didn't have to move a step. Here's Nate Evert coming up, the designated hitter for O'Hara, who also popped up in his first at-bat. Just so many batters have popped up so far in the first almost 3 innings of this matchup. A lot of fly balls here against both of the starters. Evert, a .186 hitter, 3 RBIs this season. Stands in with 1 out, and Jack Quinn taking his lead off of first base. Not a big lead for Quinn. There's a strike from a fastball. It's 0-1. David Chapansky, Brendan Ricciardi with you here on Delco Baseball Now's YouTube channel. PCL Playoffs Wild Card Round. The score were to hold. O'Hara would take on the 1 seed LaSalle. Pickoff attempt here. Quinn's not going anywhere. Looks like Brendan has perhaps fixed the setup. He has. He'll be retreating back towards our setup here in deep right field in a moment. No balls, 1 strike. The count to Nate Evert. Buckton, the southpaw from the belt, looks back Quinn. And the pitch, check swing. Evert did not go. It's 1-1. Count even at 1. 2-0 lead for the Lions. 1 out here in the top of the 3rd inning. There goes Quinn from first. It's a hit and run, and the pitch is popped up. Right field, Friel on the run. He gives chase and missed it. Goes over his glove, was trying to get to the spot right in front of us, and just a long foul ball for Nate Evert. Good effort from Friel, who I'm sure if you talk to him would say he should have had that one. And it's also one of the plays here slicing down the right field line where there are a lot of trees on this side, and I think Friel was trying to keep in mind that the tree could potentially take it. And that would have been an interesting call if it hits off the trees and it's caught by Friel. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. I doubt the trees are in play. So another chance here for Nate Evert with a runner on first. We'll see if Quinn goes again after the hit and run. 2-0 lead for the Lions, and this time Buckton steps off. Brendan has rejoined the booth.
It's tough, man, to get the the game changer mount on the back of the fence to try and get at the perfect angle. Got smoked.
Well, you did a
by
good
foul ball.
job. You hustled quickly too. Friel now playing closer towards the line after that foul ball from Evert. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1 out, little cat and mouse game at first base. Buckton comes home. There goes Quinn. Pitches outside. The throw down from Romano. Skips on a hop. Close tag. But Quinn is safe. So a stolen base for the Lions. And another runner in scoring position for O'Hara with still only 1 out. Home plate umpire appears to be talking to the O'Hara dugout once again, and something to keep in mind is the Lions were issued a warning earlier in this game for taunting, I believe, towards Buckton.
Usually, from my experience, the umpires, they only care if you're talking to the other team's player. They don't care if you're too loud, or they don't care, for the most part, if you're saying something to your players. It's just when it's addressed, usually by name, if that's what's happening.
2 balls, 2 strikes the count. Good chance here for Evert to try to pick up his 4th RBI of the season. Buckton looks back Quinn at second. Here comes the lefty's pitch outside. Hits off the glove of Romano. Quinn will head into third. So a runner just 90 feet away for the Lions. And this is unusual Bonner baseball. You don't see the little things go this poorly for Bonner as it has so far in the first 3 innings. That's really kind of been the difference so far. You had the error last inning by D'Ambrosio to allow what would have been a 1 RBI double into a 2 RBI double. A couple of balls that Romano just off of his glove, and then Friel had the play in right field that probably should have been caught. So just tough defensively right now for the Friars, but they're trying to hang in there, and Buckton trying to get them out of the trouble.
Well, I will say my journey over there did let me know that Jake Gorman is warming up in the bullpen for Bonner. So something good came out of it.
3-2 pitch from Buckton, lined into left field. This is a fair ball, and once again we'll head all the way into the corner. Quinn easily scores. Evert will pull into second. 3rd double of the game for the Lions. It's a 3-0 lead for O'Hara. A lot of extra base hits against Buckton so far today. Albarano with a good job to just get that ball in, but Evert easily pulls into second.
I don't know about easily. He's holding that hammy right now. We'll see how he's doing.
So we'll keep an eye on how long the leash is potentially on Buckton. It's already the 6th hit of the day just here in the top of the 3rd inning. Only 1 out. Buckton desperately could use a pop-up or a strikeout here as Vinny Mancini steps in. He singled in his first at-bat to lead off the 2nd inning, takes a strike. All 3 innings for the Lions have started with a leadoff base runner. Colin Thomas with a double in the first, Vinny Mancini with a single in the second, and Jack Quinn with a single. He just scored here in the 3rd. Something unusual, too. Buckton, not a super high strikeout pitcher, but he does not have a strikeout yet in this game. Fouled back. I want to thank everybody, of course, for tuning in, spending some time with us here on this Monday. PCL playoffs, just a great time of year. Weather is hopefully going to stay warmer. We'll see what happens, but always good this time of year. Baseball is always great. Bonner has dug himself a little bit of a hole here. Buckton with the chance to get out of it. He's ahead, no balls and 2 strikes. Looks back Evert. Buckton's pitch upstairs. Just seems like Buckton is having a hard time kind of finishing these hitters off, and that's been the difference so far today. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Evert takes his lead off a second. Buckton again could use a strikeout here. Could really love a strikeout. And the pitch to Mancini in the dirt, 2-2.
Yeah, O'Hara hitters are doing a really good job at just not chasing these off-speed pitches. You know, like they're even in the at-bats that they're getting out, they're doing a good job at kind of making long at-bats. And I don't have Buckton's exact pitch count in front of me. I can pull that up, but just forcing these long at-bats even when they do get out.
And we were talking about it off-air, but you figured with both of these pitchers, probably a lot of off-speed pitches would be used to try to force weak contact. All of the contact against Buckton has mainly been hard. There's a pop-up here, first base side. Dorita gives it a look, but into the trees. Watch out any trains behind us. It's 2-2.
I got Buckton at 48 pitches right now, so I believe once it goes to the playoffs, I believe the PIAA does 105 pitches. I'd be surprised if we see him get up to that many, but it switches from 100 to 105.
Count even at 2. Good battle here from Vinny Mancini, the O'Hara third baseman. Runner at second, 1 run in this inning, 3-0 lead for O'Hara here in the top half of the 3rd inning. Here's Buckton's 3-2, chopped on the ground, over to third. Good play by Brown. Long throw across the diamond in time. Good play by the third baseman for Bonner, Jack Brown. That's a web gem type of play, guarding the line of the hot corner.
Yeah, it's a tough play, especially because he looked back, Evert at second base, and then was able to get the throw to first. It was bang, bang. I think he got him. It was pretty close, but a really good job just to be able to kind of keep an eye on him at second and still have a throw of that caliber over.
So here's Jason Niwaz, the catcher for O'Hara. He reached with the error back in the second inning. Be a great job by Buckton to limit the damage to 1 in this inning and 3 overall. Buckton's first pitch to Niwaz drops in for a strike. It's 0-1. But as you mentioned, Brendan, a lot of long at-bats from the O'Hara hitters, and you could tell that's been the approach by Coach Benedict's squad.
Absolutely, and it's funny because they are still being aggressive, but they're being selective in terms. They're not just swinging to swing. If they swing at the first pitch, it's to do damage.
No balls, 1 strike the count. Buckton about to throw his 50th pitch of the afternoon. Here it comes, swing and a miss. No balls and 2 strikes the count to the O'Hara catcher. In the bottom half of the third next inning, Bonner will have 8, 9, and 1. Erickson, D'Ambrosio, and Brown due up for the home Friars. Sun now really beginning to come out here at Corey Field. No balls and 2 strikes, 2 outs. Evert takes his lead off a second. Buckton looks him back, comes home, outside. Good stop there by Romano that time to prevent that baseball from getting to the backstop. Haven't seen any groundhogs in the last inning.
I think they're behind us.
Yes, that is true for the most part. What do we got? 2 at the groundhog counter?
I believe so. I wonder if after years of evolution they've realized don't stand near the plate. The further away from the field, the better. But they still
year after year, it's something the groundhogs have learned. It's acquired knowledge.
And they still want to see the game, though.
That's a good point.
They just want to be further away from
Well, they're behind
action.
the batting cage. Here, 1 ball and 2 strikes the count. Here comes Buckton, whacked foul at the plate. And they've at least distanced themselves about 300 feet away from home plate. So that's a positive development as well. Not a ton of foul territory here at Corey Field. More in front of us here on the right field side of things. Really not much at all in left field. A little bit near the Bonner dugout, but not a ton. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. Buckton looking to stop the damage here. Big lead for Evert. Nobody holding him on. Here comes the 1-2. Evert stopped, went halfway, but it doesn't matter. Swing and a miss. And there's the first strikeout of the day for Danny Buckton. Niwaz goes down swinging. So we've played 2.5 innings. The Lions add on to their lead. It's 3-0, thanks to the RBI double from Nate Evert. Bottom of the third, Bonner trails O'Hara 3-0 here in the PCL wildcard round. 8, 9, and 1 due up for the Friars. Erickson, D'Ambrosio, and Brown. What have you made so far, Brendan, of just the Bonner offensive attack against the sophomore Colin Thomas?
I don't think it's been bad necessarily. I think right now that their biggest issue has been the defense and the fact that O'Hara is just jumping on them offensively. I think it's a little too early to say their offense is struggling or can't hit. I think that they've, the off-speed pitches, I think they haven't done a great job adjusting early on, but I still think they've had some pretty good swings and some deep counts. And I would not expect them to. I don't expect this to be a low-scoring game.
And you think with this loud crowd, any hit could really get them going. And it is a big crowd here. And a good amount of O'Hara supporters, of course, as well, with the schools only being about 10 or 15 minutes apart from each other. But a large crowd with a DJ, and they're just waiting for something to happen so they could explode here at Corey Field. Both of these teams with two of the best fan bases in Delco, as Erickson, the DH, is about to step into the batter's box.
Yeah, and the bottom of the Bonner order hasn't quite been as productive as it was last year, where you had guys like Romano and Lockhart down there and Redding at the bottom of the order. So for these guys, they just need to be able to get on base for this top of the order.
First pitch to Erickson is swung on and skied. Third base side, Mancini gives it a look, backpedals, and somehow is able to stay in and make the catch. Tough play there, one pitch, one out.
Our intern John almost got smoked over there by Mancini.
And here comes Chase D'Ambrosio, the freshman shortstop, who I know Bonner's very high on. He's had a really solid campaign this season, just hitting 122 at the plate, but defensively he's shown some really good signs. And it's always tough as a freshman, just first really real chance at high school pitching and stepping right into the varsity level.
Yeah, I mean, 3 years ago we were watching this guy on a 46-60 Little League field, right? It's a big adjustment, and for most kids his age, they're either on JV or the freshman team. So I think it just shows how much they value what he can do, and I know the offense is going to come.
Pretty big kid as well. The 1-0 is outside. It's 2-0 to D'Ambrosio.
I think he might have been a three-sport varsity athlete this year with football and basketball. I know he plays all three. Not exactly sure. I believe he was at least played for varsity at some point for all three.
Football field not too far away from us here at Corey Field over the left field fence. See some route running happening out there. Looks like wide receivers maybe getting loose potentially. The 2-0.
Football's year-round.
It really is. There's a strike. It's 2-1 to D'Ambrosio. David Shapansky, Brendan Ricciardi with you here in the booth. Again, the number 7 seeded Bonner Friars, 10-10 overall against the number 10 seeded O'Hara Lions, 6-13 overall. And the pitch lined first base side, and it hits off the Bonner dugout. My bad. 8-12 overall this season are the Lions. 6-13 last year. Thanks, Brendan, for that. 2 more overall wins this year, as mentioned earlier, for Coach Benedict's team.
And counting.
And counting, yeah. 3-0 lead here in the bottom of the third. Of course,
Well,
still a long way to go.
Absolutely. Should O'Hara win, they will travel to LaSalle Wednesday. Should Bonner win, they will travel to Egan as they reseed after each round.
Here comes Thomas's 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. 4th strikeout of the day for Colin Thomas, and that's 7 consecutive retired. Here, he hasn't a lot of hit yet today.
It feels like that off-speed pitch is really starting to work for him. I think, like we mentioned earlier on, you didn't think he quite had the feel for it. He seems to trust it, and more importantly, he seems to trust throwing it at any count as well.
Back to the top of the order for Jack Brown, who grounded back to Thomas in his first at-bat to lead off the bottom of the first. A lot of Bonner hitters have been aggressive, swinging early, and once again, Brown is aggressive. Chops this one on the ground over to second. Thomas on a hop to Steigerwald. Another 1-2-3 inning for Colin Thomas, and that's 8 consecutive hitters retired. We've played 3 full innings here at Corey Field. 3-0 lead for the Lions.
Back with some score updates around Delaware County. The last day of the Central League season, Haverford's already won the league, and they're up 6-0 versus Ridley, looking to become the first team since 2013 Strathaven to go undefeated. Springfield leads Harriton 5-0. Chichester leads rival Sun Valley 9-0. Radnor leads Pencrest 3-0. We got Garner Valley and Lower Marion are scoreless. Conestoga leads Upper Darby 9-2. Delco Christian and Doc Mennonite tied 3-3. Malvern Prep leads Westtown 1-0. And Dave, right here, Cardinal O'Hara leading 3-0 over Bonner. And based on the research, I believe this will be the first time since, I want to say, 2018 that O'Hara would beat Bonner.
Well, O'Hara looking to end what has been a tough streak against the Friars. It's Joey Thompson who leads us off against Buckton. First pitch is low. It's 1-0. Danny Buckton picked up his first strikeout of the game here in the third inning against Niwaz to end the third inning. And Buckton just has allowed a lot of base runners today, and credit to the O'Hara hitters for really working the count. Crushed in the air, out to deep right field. Friel's back, got a beat on it, hits off his glove, heading towards the fence. Thompson is around first. He wants two. A put on the brakes there. Another extra base hit for the Lions. Thompson doubles.
Now, how many leadoff doubles is that to start an inning?
That is the second leadoff double, but all 4 innings have had a leadoff base hit for O'Hara. That is the overall 4th double of the day for the Lions, and this may be the end of the road for Danny Buckton here in the 4th. We'll see if Coach DeBarberi makes a change. No really sign yet, so we'll step aside here on Delco Baseball Now's YouTube channel. It's a 3-0 lead for Cardinal O'Hara. New pitcher in the game for the Friars as Danny Buckton's day is done. The line is not yet closed after the leadoff double to Joey Thompson in the top half of the 4th inning. But the new pitcher is Jake Gorman on the hill for the Friars. This season, Gorman is 1-2 at the 6.76 earned run average. He's pitched in 19 2/3 of an inning, allowing 19 earned runs, 19 walks, which has been his biggest issue, and 18 strikeouts. Opponents are hitting .268 against him this year. Again, the line on Buckton is not closed, but Brendan, your kind of first initial thoughts on Buckton's performance today?
I think that sometimes throwing too many strikes can be a bad thing if a team is being aggressive and picking out pitches. I think a lot of the times when Buckton's successful, it's because teams are kind of chasing, maybe getting themselves out, and the defense is playing really well behind them. But just a combination of things. I think that O'Hara was picking the right pitches to swing at, and you got to give them credit. They were attacking, and they were hitting a couple of doubles and just doing a really good job.
4 doubles in the game. Overall against Buckton, he allowed 6 hits today. Actually 7 hits, including that double. And again, his line is not complete yet.
And for Jake Gorman, transferring over from Marple Newtown after he spent 2 years there, definitely struggled early in the middle part of the year. The last 2 starts, he's been very good. He threw 5 scoreless innings against the Haverford School. In his last start against Chichester, 2 scoreless innings. In Episcopal, he went 5 2/3 with just 1 earned run. So a lot of confidence going into this playoff run, and they're going to hope that they have the second half Gorman in this game.
And a pretty quick hook from Coach DeBarberi. First hit allowed here in the 4th. I mean, his team is already down by 3 runs. Don't want to let it get much worse than that with the way that the sophomore Colin Thomas has thrown so far for O'Hara. Here's Jake Steigerwald. He had a double in his first at-bat. Big swing here and fouls it over his own dugout. Steigerwald with one of those 4 doubles. One from Thomas, one from Everett, one from Steigerwald, and one from Thompson. Thompson's over there at second base. That last ball just glanced off of the glove of Ryan Friel in right field. Here's Gorman's 0-1 pitch in the dirt. Good stop there by Romano. David Shapansky, Brendan Ricciardi with you here in the booth. Glad you could join us here in the first round PCL playoffs, the wild card round, if you will.
I think I'm the only one that calls it that, but I just think it
I
sounds
like
cool.
it.
Yeah,
it's
better
old
than just
school.
the first round. Play-in round doesn't sound as fun.
No, it doesn't. No, the wild card round. 1 ball, 1 strike to count. Here's the pitch from Gorman in the dirt again. Another fantastic stop from Romano. And now they have Thompson in a rundown, but the throw goes over the head of the second baseman, Coleman. And Thompson will get to third. So a bad, just really kind of pickle rundown there. And again, for Bonner, that's just not something you see a whole lot. Usually a team that's very well fundamentally sound. So O'Hara tried to get ultra aggressive with Thompson kind of on the move for third. Bonner had an opportunity to record an out, and now the infield plays in for the Friars. Already trailing by 3, 2 balls and a strike. Gorman looks back Thompson, and the pitch to Steigerwald. There's a fastball on the inside part of the plate.
Well, we haven't seen Jake Gorman in a playoff game in a Bonner uniform, but he closed out the district championship for Marple 2 years ago as a freshman. So we know that at least in playoff games he's had that experience while not being in Drexel Hill.
And that's so big in a lot of spots like this. But you have to think even more pressure on him with his team trailing by 3, the fourth run just 90 feet away. Pitches outside, so it's 3-2 to Steigerwald, who really has put up the 2 best at-bats in this game today. Sean Vaughn is on deck. Vaughn singled in his first at-bat. 3 balls, 2 strikes to count. Gorman gets the signs from Romano. Comes set from the stretch. Here's the pitch from the Bonner righty. Fastball just in off the plate. So a walk for Steigerwald, and the first 2 batters have reached against Bonner pitching in the 4th. And this game feels like the Bonner could be hanging on here. And this is a chance where Vaughn has an opportunity to perhaps come up with another big hit.
I'm going to make a prediction here. I wonder if they think safety squeeze here. Because you got first and third.
You could.
With the scoreboard says no outs. I thought
There's
one.
nobody out.
There's nobody out.
Yeah, Thompson doubled to lead off, and Steigerwald just walked.
So I wonder if with the speed of Vaughn, they would consider trying to get that bunt where, you know, with the safety squeeze where you could get the run in, and then also he could potentially be at first. Oh, he squared for a second there.
He can hear you, Brendan.
He squared for a second.
Takes a ball. It's 1-0. Vaughn entered today's game hitting below 100. He singled in the second, and that kept the rally going for O'Hara. And now he has an opportunity with no one out here in the 4th. Runners on the corners. See if he shows bunt again. The third baseman, Brown, is holding on the runner. And so is the first baseman, Dorita. So plenty of space if he can get this bunt down. Pretty much would have to be Gorman to field it. The bunt is down. Third base side. Rolling foul. Romano will watch it roll foul. So it's 1-1.
I believe the O'Hara broadcast is listening to us. Or the O'Hara dugout is listening to us.
They could. They could be. 1 ball, 1 strike to count to Sean Vaughn, the right fielder for O'Hara. Again, just feels like such a crucial spot in this game. And maybe I'm being Captain Obvious, so you can tell me to stop talking. But runners on the corners. Bonner's offense has struggled to get anything going today.
It's a very quiet Bonner dugout right now, I will say that.
Very quiet crowd, too, which credit to O'Hara for really taking the crowd out of it. The DJ has pretty much been silent. The 1-1 pitch to Vaughn, lined into the second baseman's glove. Coleman, who's got it. Good job by, I believe, Dorita to get back over and cover. But a run does score. Thompson comes in. It's 4-0 Lions. But I think at this point, Bonner would have kind of exchanged an out there.
I mean, they absolutely have the offense to get back in this game. They just have to minimize as well as they can.
Steigerwald also moves up to second, so another runner in scoring position for a chance, at least from our, or for a moment there, from our advantage point. Looked like Vaughn's hit may have gotten through the infield, but good job there by Coleman to range over to his left. Back to the top of the order for O'Hara. It's Colin Thomas who will face Gorman. First pitch here is inside. It's 1-0. Thomas today 1 for 2 with a double in his first at bat to left field and a ground out to second. The Marple transfer looking to get out of the 4th inning. Still only 1 away. 4-0 lead for O'Hara. There's a strike. It's 1-1.
Sun's starting to come out a little bit.
Sure is, yeah, especially over our heads. Behind home plate, pretty dark clouds still, but looks like for the next few innings we could be in the sun. which, as you said, Brendan, played a role when you played here.
It's usually when it gets to center field, which is typically a little bit later, like when you had a Delco League game, it's like 6 o'clock, but we'll see if that causes any issues.
Gorman comes set. The 1-1 pitch, whacked, foul down the first base side. Off the trees.
Because it's really not an advantage for either side, because obviously the hitter struggles to see it, but if the catcher can't see the ball, then that's not really a pro for the pitching side.
And we've seen a couple of weird bounces to the backstop in this game already. 4-0 lead for the Lions. Another run in here in the fourth inning for O'Hara. 1 ball, 2 strikes with 1 out. Gorman in relief of Danny Buckton. Buckton's line is officially closed. We'll get that to you coming up soon here on Delco Baseball Now. Gorman trying to get into rhythm, with Steigerwalt taking his lead off of second base. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. In the dirt, great block by Romano. And it's 2-2.
Not sure whether Romano's going to decide to play football or baseball in college, but I will say if he goes the baseball route, he's very, very strong defensive catcher, and more importantly, he's got that football mentality where he does not care if the ball hits him anywhere on the body, whether it has the equipment or not.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Gorman looks back Steigerwalt again, comes home, popped up, first base side. Not a ton of room for Dorita to work with, and he'll watch it again hit the trees. And it stays even at 2. The trees are probably looking at Thomas saying, what do we do? What's wrong with us? A couple of foul balls peppered towards the first base side.
They should do something about that because they are very in play.
They are, and that's what I had said when you were gone, Brendan, and you were working on the camera, was the play that Friel had an opportunity to catch a few innings ago. He missed it, and it didn't hit the trees, but it very well could have, and you know that had to be in Friel's mind. If it hits the trees and somehow, doesn't get blocked or hit around up there and it comes down into Friel's glove, would it be an out? Probably not.
No, I believe it's a dead ball if it hits the tree.
But still, I mean, something to think about. The 2-2 pitch, lined right to the shortstop, D'Ambrosio. And he will touch the bag to double up Steigerwalt. So maybe that's exactly what the Friars needed. Hard hit baseball from Colin Thomas, but turns into a double play. The freshman shortstop gets 2. We're off to the bottom of the 4th, 3-0 lead, 4-0 lead for Cardinal O'Hara. Well, the DJ played a little music, trying to make this crowd a little happier as Bonner trails Cardinal O'Hara 4-0 here in the bottom of the 4th. 2, 3, and 4 due up for Bonner. Jack Coleman, Gavin Dorita, and Ryan Friel as the sun is pretty much fully out now at Corey Field. A lot of overcast skies in the first 3 innings, but pretty much in the sun the last inning or so. David Shapansky, Brendan Ricciardi with you. Brendan, what would be the mode of attack for the Friars to begin this 4th inning? What do they have to do to get to Colin Thomas?
I mean, I feel like just see some more pitches. I feel like a lot of, you started last inning with a pop out on the first at bat, a couple early, pitches. I'm not exactly sure. I would guess Jack Quinn is probably next in relief for O'Hara should it gets there. But, 4 runs for them is feeling like a million right now. And I would say just know that you're not going to get them all back on one swing and just go 1 at bat at a time and be a little selective. And
really credit to Colin Thomas, the sophomore, again, making, I'm going to assume, his first playoff start. I would imagine he didn't pitch last year against St. Joe's Prep. I believe Schreiber got the start last year.
Yeah, it had to be either Schreiber or Quinn.
So 1 ball, no strikes to count. Thomas has looked really sharp. Bonner takes the first 2 pitches to begin the 4th. There's a strike to Coleman. It's 1-1. Coleman was hit by a pitch. He's the only Bonner hitter to reach against Colin Thomas with that hit by pitch. 3, I'll just say innings without a hit from Thomas. Fouled back. It's 1-2.
Every foul ball that goes back to the backstop, I'm hoping it doesn't hit our setup.
It's a long walk, again, from where we are. We're set up here in foul territory down the right field line, about 320 feet away from home plate. And the first base umpire emphatically wanted Thomas to get a new baseball. But a beautiful setup here at Corey Field. The batter's eye in straightaway center. Parking lots on both sides. Football field in left field. One of the school buildings in straightaway center over the batter's eye. Or behind the batter's eye, I should say. Slight shift on here with Coleman. Playing up the middle. The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Thomas struck him out. 5 strikeouts for the sophomore. And Colin Thomas is just really in a rhythm now.
And it's certainly not now or never time for the Friars, but with the middle of your order up here, down 4-0, you want to do as much as you can to try and close the gap now. Because if that gets to 7-0, 8-0, then that puts way too much pressure on.
And the Lions have added on every inning. They scored 2 in the second, 1 in the third, 1 in the fourth. So they have not taken their foot off the gas. Dorita fouls this first pitch behind the plate.
I mean, you could just see the last time these two teams played on April 15th, the frustration that came from O'Hara. They were so close to winning that game. It was a walk-off infield single that Adam Schreiber's about 6'8", but if he was 1 inch taller, that game was going to the 8th inning. So you can just tell how much this means to them.
A little bit high, 1 ball and 1 strike. And you have to think, Brendan, that this team, I mean, not have to think, that they haven't forgotten about that moment here at this field, losing 1-0. That was a big conference loss for them. And they're looking to change the tides, leading 4-0. 1 ball and 1 strike the count. Thomas delivers to Dorita, breaking ball just a little bit outside. It's 2-1. And you have to think, again, we mentioned it, this is really your Schwarber and Harper with Dorita and Friel in the batting lineup for Coach DeBarberi. And this is where, if you're Bonner, really want to at least string together a few hits here, maybe pick up at least 1 run back. 1 ball and 1 strike the count with 1 out. Here's the pitch from Thomas. Big swing and a miss again there from Dorita. It's 1-2.
These guys are just not picking up the off-speed well right now. I think it's kind of hard to tell from here, but it seems like there's such a big difference. It seems kind of like a slow curve or maybe like a slurve that it's so different from his fastball velocity that they're just not picking it up right out of the hands.
And it's been even more effective to lefties, I think, than it has been to righties. A little bit opposite splits here for Thomas. The 1-2 pitch, another breaking ball to not come all the way back, so it's even at 2.
I'm kind of deep me for a sec. The way he kind of stepped back for a second, it looked like he was going to ring it out. I thought from here it was a bit up, but again, it's hard to see the corners from here.
2 balls, 2 strikes the count. Dorita chokes up on his bat. And the pitch from Thomas again goes to the breaking ball. It's outside, and apparently scoreboard was wrong, and so was I. It's ball 4 for Gavin Dorita. So Dorita is aboard. Second base runner of the day allowed by Colin Thomas. I may have lost a ball there because I was pretty certain it was 2-2 on that last pitch. But anyway, it's a walk for Bonner, and that's exactly what the Friars needed. Here's Ryan Friel. Friel stands into the batter's box. He also struck out swinging in his first at-bat against Thomas. Thomas checks back on Dorita, who slides in safely. David Shapansky, Brendan Ricciardi with you. Glad you could join us. PCL wild card round here of the playoffs. Playoff baseball in mid-May. And the crowd has for sure come out.
Well, if I'm Dorita, I better not be too far off that base down 4-0 here.
No, not at all. And again, just want to try to extend the rally. Keep the line moving, if you will, for the Friars. We have had a hard time getting base runners against Thomas today. Thomas, the righty from the belt, first pitch to Friel. Big swing and a miss. Actually fouled back to the cage.
And you can just see some of these guys are just a little jumpy, like they're just they're a little bit ahead. They're just, I wouldn't say trying to do too much. I just think that they're all kind of trying to, get this rally started themselves, which I understand from that perspective, but you just got to be patient and, not be afraid to go left center if you have to.
And one swing, too, doesn't tie this game. I think that's also something you have to think about in terms of your approach at the plate. You need to just, as I mentioned earlier, and you mentioned as well, Brendan, string together hits rather than the big hit. Of course, a home run would significantly help the Friars here, but not needed necessarily. And this is where, too, perhaps the base runner, Dorita, could distract Thomas here to maybe throwing Friel a pitch that's a little too center cut. 0-1 pitch. Just missed.
I was going to say there really haven't been too many base runners for Thomas to worry about today. So
There have not. No, just had that Coleman hit by pitch in the first and the walk now to Dorita. But after Coleman was hit by a pitch in the first, it was back-to-back strikeouts, both swinging from Dorita and Friel. 1 ball, 1 strike. The pitch from Thomas, swing and a miss as Friel went chasing after that pitch. It's 1-2. And that's really uncharacteristic. Talked about the overall fielding struggles for Bonner today. Uncharacteristic for Friel to chase that badly.
Definitely tough missing a week of games as he did last week to get right back into a playoff game and get that timing back.
He's a warrior, that's for sure. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. Thomas comes set. His pitch fouled back. Good cut there from Friel as you see these Bonner hitters trying to time up whatever that slow breaking ball is from Thomas. That's really fooled a lot of the Friars hitters today.
Yeah, it's tough for us to see kind of the east-west on any off-speed pitches from where we're sitting here, but it definitely seems like just velocity-wise, it's a lot slower, and if it has that movement, it can be tough to kind of predict where, because a lot of your body just kind of reacts.
Friel, a 400 hitter, looking to bring life back to this Bonner dugout. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. There goes Dorita. Check swing, called strike 3. Throw down from Niwaz is not in time. So a strikeout of Friel. There were 2 away, and Dorita's in scoring position.
Was that on the pitch or was that a swing?
That was on the pitch.
Okay.
Yep, that was a called strike 3. Didn't have to appeal down. So here's Owen Lockhart with 2 outs. It's a 6th strikeout of the day for Colin Thomas with just 2 outs in the 4th. Owen Lockhart popped up to Thompson on the right side of the infield in his first at-bat. Not sure what the pitch count is for Thomas, but really can't be all that high. His first pitch is skied in the air behind the plate. Going to the trees on the third base side. It's 0-1.
That was the 53rd pitch for Thomas.
Final line on Buckton, 3 innings pitched, 5 hits, 4 runs, 1 earned, 1 strikeout. The error proved to be a big one from D'Ambrosio earlier in this game. No balls and 1 strike to count. Runner in scoring position, the first of the day for the Friars. Can Owen Lockhart cash in? Down by 4. Thomas with a long pause. Kicks home from the stretch, upstairs. Owen Lockhart this season, a .294 hitter. 14 RBIs this season. That's towards the top of the Bonner team. He's got a lot of opportunities here in that 5 spot behind guys like Dorita and Friel. The 1-1 pitch in the dirt, bounces in front of Niwaz. Dorita will take third. It's 2 balls and a strike. Brendan, it's just funny because that backstop is not a big one. There's not a ton of room behind that backstop, but we've seen a lot of pass balls and wild pitches today.
Yeah, and the closer you get to it, the more you see it's kind of angled, so it's not that deep behind the catcher, but it's very kind of slanted where the majority of the time it kind of shoots up the side.
2 balls, 1 strike to count to Owen Lockhart. The pitch to the lefty. Fastball outside. It's 3-1. So Bonner starting to string together some better at-bats here against Thomas. And I'll be curious to see what Coach Benedict's decision is here. I mean, not necessarily in this inning, but how long will he let Thomas stay out there? Obviously, Thomas not in any trouble yet, but Bonner has hit better in this inning. 3-1, fouled back behind the plate.
We know we got a fresh Jack Quinn in center field. I've been told that Adam Schreiber had been dealing with some shoulder soreness, their high point recruit, so I'm not exactly sure what his availability is. I'm sure if he's able to go, he'd love to, but I believe Jack Quinn would be next in relief, so we'll see what happens.
Full count, runner at second. Dorita takes his lead. The pitch to Lockhart in the dirt, ball 4. And Niwaz thought about checking on Dorita at third, but runners on first and third. And there you see the Bonner faithful making some noise. Big at bat for Cole Romano. So Benedict is heading to the mound, and I believe he just might have signaled for a change. We'll see if he does indeed take Colin Thomas out of this game. We'll step aside here on Delco Baseball now. Bonner threatening really for the first time today. Runners on the corners with 2 outs, down by 4. Back after this. So 2 walks in the inning, and Colin Thomas will stay out there. A little pep talk from his head coach, Coach Ben.
Hadn't let up a hit yet. I think, just kind of give him a second to calm himself down, recalibrate. And again, sophomore, big playoff game. Just give him a second to breathe.
First pitch to Romano, whacked foul. Romano ready to swing.
Swing at the first pitch, because a lot of times pitchers are just trying to get a strike, especially after some walks, just to kind of see one fall.
No balls, 1 strike the count. Romano struck out looking in his first at bat. Runners on the corners. Bonner trailing by 4. Romano skies this ball out to right field. Very tough to say, actually out to first base, I should say. And it's dropped by Steigerwalt. Really was not able to get a piece of his glove on it. It's 0-2.
That's always tough, as the resident first baseman here, the ones where it looks like it's going out of play. You start running over, and it kind of falls like behind your head. It's very difficult to just really the footwork there, and just it always looks like it's going more to your left than it is. So.
And that was actually the second baseman, Thompson, who was closest to it for O'Hara. And that goes to show you how much that fooled me. It is tough to see right now with the way the sun angle is, some of the clouds that are very high up there. It's mainly sunny, but that was a tough play for Thompson. Thomas is ahead in the count. No balls and 2 strikes to Romano. Again, Thomas today has 6 strikeouts. The sophomore in his first ever playoff start for the Lions. The 10-seeded Lions lead Bonner 4-0 here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. David Shapansky, Brendan Ricciardi with you. Dorita at third. Lockhart at first. The pitch to Romano. Again, skied foul.
Also surprised that we haven't seen Lockhart try and take off for second yet.
That's a good point. Lockhart definitely has the speed to do so. Perhaps Bonner just not wanting to be super aggressive in this spot, especially with a guy like Romano at the plate.
I do get it, but also with 2 outs, I feel like you can put yourself in a position where a base hit now brings in 2 runs to cut the lead in half, and with a righty pitcher, you should be able to get a good jump. So perhaps in a different count, but now with 2 strikes, you got to think at some point here you're going either ball in play or wild pitch or something.
Romano is 50% of the 4 home runs this season for Bonner. Boy, would they love one here. But just a base hit, keep the line moving. The 0-2 pitch, lined into left center field. Back is Quinn. He's got it. Didn't have to move a ton. Some frustration there from Romano, but the sophomore, Colin Thomas, gets out of the jam. Still has not allowed a hit. We're headed to the 5th. 4-0 lead for O'Hara. Jake Gorman will start his second inning of relief as we're in the top of the 5th here at Corey Field on the campus of Bonner High School. David Shapansky, Brendan Ricciardi with you. 4-0 lead for Cardinal O'Hara, the starter for the Lions. Colin Thomas just got out of his biggest jam of the day with runners on the corners and 2 outs. He's been sharp. I don't know if sharp really does the justice. 6 strikeouts for the sophomore in his first career playoff start.
Yeah, and for Cole Romano, that's just one of those, that's baseball, right? You
hit it as hard as it could.
Smoke a ball right at the center fielder, who I'm not even sure moved an inch to catch that. He probably just had to move his glove to catch that one. But that's, when they're falling, they're falling. When they're not, they're not. And for O'Hara's sake, they want to capitalize here and not. The biggest thing that Bonner has going for them is the hope, right? They're only down 4 runs here, but a couple more here, and you want to try and get them mentally out of the game, because right now for O'Hara, they're obviously feeling great, but 4 runs is 1 swing of the bat, right? I think you want to try and build up 7 runs, 8 runs, just try and get to the point where they're mentally checked out, which as of right now is obviously not the case.
And Bonner has allowed runs in each of the last 3 innings. O'Hara scored 2 in the second, 1 in the third, 1 in the fourth. So it brings up your point that really this is about as big of a shutdown inning as you could have. Yes, Bonner didn't score in that 4th inning, but you really can't allow any more runs. You want to keep the hope high. And Bonner really strung together their best at-bats against Thomas in that last inning. So definitely some positive momentum there. Jack Quinn will lead us off here in the top half of the 5th inning. First pitch from Gorman. Nice breaking ball. Swing and a miss. It'll be Quinn, Clark, and Everett due up for O'Hara. Jack Quinn, 1 for 2 today with a single and a ground out to second base. Here's the 0-1 pitch from Gorman. Skied foul, 0-2.
Now, Jack Quinn will be a two-sport athlete at the University of Scranton. An interesting combo. He's doing basketball and baseball, which is not typical because of the timelines of the two sports. Usually,
what position does he play in basketball? Do you know?
That I do not know, but usually you see maybe a football, baseball, football track. You know, it's you got to have some overlap in that season.
Pitch is bounced in the dirt. It's 1-2. Maybe Jack's a point guard. Maybe center fielder. Perhaps likes to be the captain, captain of the outfield, captain of the team. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The count. Jake Gorman looking to shut down the O'Hara offense. Nice breaking ball there. Second strikeout of the day for the Bonner pitching staff. And it's the first time today that O'Hara has not had a leadoff hitter to reach in an inning. So 1 away for Connor Clark. Just really good pitching there from Gorman. Command was pretty sharp, only threw 4 pitches. Clark today 0 for 2. One of the only guys in the O'Hara lineup that hasn't reached today, and that's surprising because he's arguably their best hitter. It's 1-0. Buckton did a good job to get him out twice, once with a pop-up to D'Ambrosio on the left side of the infield, and also a line out to Lockhart. Now, to be fair, that ball was scorched by Clark, similar to the last out by Romano. And in fact, he is the only player not to reach for O'Hara today. Everybody else has reached, and everybody else has a hit except for Niwaz, who reached with an error. It was a big error earlier in this game. There's a strike.
So now, interesting development here. Jack Quinn and Adam Schreiber throwing with each other here, which could be, either of those guys could be in relief. I'm guessing for Schreiber's sake, kind of wants to see how that shoulder's feeling. Quinn would be in center field, so wouldn't really have time for a full warm-up. 1
ball, 1 strike, the count. The pitch, chopped on the ground, over to third. Coming in is Brown. He's got it, and strong throw across the diamond. Really solid defense by Jack Brown today, and there's 2 outs. So good start for Gorman after the Bonner offense strung together some good at-bats. And here's Nate Everett, the designated hitter. He doubled in his last at-bat, also has an RBI today. Gorman working quickly, already in the windup. And the first pitch to Everett, fouled back. Really turned out to be a beautiful day here at Corey Field. Again, some rain this morning in the area. Overcast clouds for much of the first few innings, but the sun is shining brightly now here on the campus of Bonner High School.
It's the first time all year I've been upset that we're in the shade, not the sun.
A little chillier here in the shade. Temperatures right around 60. 0-1 pitch from Gorman. Yeah, nice pitch on the inside part of the plate. It's 0-2. So Gorman just throwing strikes, really rearing back and firing it right now for Bonner. Again, the Marple transfer. No balls and 2 strikes the count. Gorman's ready to go. The pitch to Everett. Hit off of the glove, and it rolls out to the shortstop, D'Ambrosio, who tried to barehand it, but could not get a throw off. So a base hit for Everett. He's halfway to the cycle, 2 for 3 today. Tough play there for Gorman, who just tried to get a piece of it, and he did. And really, once it got past the pitcher, Gorman really just wasn't rolling enough to D'Ambrosio to have any chance to get Everett.
No, I think even if he fielded that cleanly, he probably wouldn't have had time. It looks like they're going to take him out. He did not look right running to first base there.
And remember, after that double, he really kind of grabbed his hamstring,
right.
So that's something to monitor. And we'll see who the pinch runner is. It is DiPietro. It will run for Everett. We'll see if DiPietro is the backup catcher, stays in the game for Everett. Everett is the DH, so potentially we'll see him hit again.
So I believe this DiPietro was a courtesy runner earlier. This is a pinch runner.
Okay, that would make sense. First pitch inside here to Mancini. It's 1-0. Mancini 1 for 2 today with a single. He came around to score in the second. Started that rally for O'Hara, where the Lions scored 2 runs in that inning. Also grounded out to third.
So you can enter, be taken out, and then enter again. But if you were taken out a second time, you cannot enter a third time.
We'll see if Everett is actually out of this game for good, or just here of DiPietro. Next pitch, fouled back. So it's 1-1. Seems like the Lions just a little late on the fastball from Jake Gorman right now.
Going back to the O'Hara bullpen talk, I know they would love if Adam Schreiber is able to pitch because that means they get to keep Jack Quinn in center field.
He's really working the shoulder right now. You can see Schreiber in front of us near the O'Hara dugout.
It's always the catch-22 where it's tough because, it could be your last ever high school game, but also you have the future of a Division I pitcher, so it's like you don't want to have a long-term injury, and I understand both sides of it.
1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Runner at first, DiPietro. The pitch popped up, first base side. It's foul into the trees again. So Mancini is behind in the count, left to battle back. 1 ball, 2 strikes. David Shapansky, Brendan Ricciardi with you. PCL Playoffs wild card round. The number 7 seeded Bonner Friars hosting the number 10 seeded Cardinal O'Hara Lions. Both of these schools big rivals. Bonner won the first matchup 1-0 in a game that Schreiber pitched. Gorman trying to shut down in his second inning of work. There goes DiPietro. Ball's hit in the air, out to left field, medium deep. Albarano's got a beat on it. To his left, he'll put it away in the alley for the third and final out. So good inning there by Jake Gorman in relief. Faces 4 batters, has a strikeout, and allows just the 1 hit to Everett. We have played 5.5 here at Bonner High School. 4-0 lead for O'Hara. Bonner will grab their bats after this. Colin Thomas, the sophomore, back out on the mound for the Lions with some swag as we're about to start the bottom half of the 5th inning. 4-0 lead for Cardinal O'Hara, and Bonner is still looking for its first hit today. 7, 8, and 9 due up for the Friars. Albarano, Erickson, and D'Ambrosio will greet Colin Thomas for the second time today. Albarano popped up to the second baseman Thompson in his first at-bat, takes a strike to begin the 5th. It's 0-1. See how Bonner responds after a really good relief inning there from Jake Gorman, and also Bonner sent 5 batters to the plate in the 4th. That was their best inning of the game for the Friars so far. 2 walks. 0-1, hit on the ground, over to second base. Thompson's got it, bobbles, recovers, throws to first for the out. Another ground out there for Colin Thomas. Albarano retired on just a few pitches, and Sean Erickson is coming up. A lot of weak contact against Colin Thomas today, and as we were talking about kind of in the open, Thomas with really good numbers this season. 19 2/3, 31 strikeouts, just 8 walks. Opponents rating just 167 against him. He doesn't throw all that hard. Fastball in the low 80s, but it's the breaking ball that really has fooled a lot of these hitters, especially the lefty hitters, for Bonner today. Erickson shows bunt, gets it down, but foul. No balls in a strike to Sean Erickson, the DH for Bonner. Again, Bonner today with just 3 base runners, 2 of which came in the last inning in the 4th.
And despite the fact we saw Quinn and Schreiber warming up, I wouldn't take Thomas out of this game.
I would not either.
Unless they're really just starting to have better bats against him, which not really the case.
Erickson way late on that fastball, so it's 0-2. And just really nice job by Niwaz behind the plate as well. He's called a really good game. And Thomas is really hitting his spots, mixing up pitches, has not really had to use the fastball a lot, and that has really helped his team and has been to his advantage. The 0-2 pitch from Thomas, fastball again there, almost hit Erickson.
And also, despite or regardless of what the result of this game ends up being, you have to tip your cap to O'Hara coach Rob Benedict, because starting a sophomore when you have 2 senior pitchers is gutsy. And I know Schreiber's not 100%, but I'm sure, Jack Quinn, like all competitors, would have loved the ball in this game. But to put your sophomore out there and trust him, and it's paid off so far.
Opponents hitting less than 200 against Thomas this season. Fly ball, center field. Quinn again barely has to move. He's got it in its tracks. 2 outs. A good swing there by Erickson, but right to the glove of the center fielder.
It's just very rare you see a Bonner dugout just look this lifeless. It just
very rare.
It's just the breaks have not gone from them. Like you mentioned, Cole Romano smoked that ball in the last inning right to Quinn. It's doesn't look like a normal Bonner game.
And Bonner is quickly losing time in this game. Just 7 outs left to work with, trailing by 4. Here's Chase D'Ambrosio with 2 outs, base is empty. Swings to the first pitch, perhaps off the glove of Thomas. Shortstop Clark's got it. Throw, bang, bang, play, but in time to get D'Ambrosio. So 1-2-3 inning for Colin Thomas. He's retired 4 straight. He's pitched 5 no-hit innings. We're headed to the top of the 6th. All Lions so far here at Corey Field. 4-0 lead for Cardinal O'Hara. Top of the 6th, O'Hara will look to extend its lead, already leading Bonner 4-0 here in the wildcard round of the PCL playoffs. Niwaz, Thompson, and Steigerwald are the 3 hitters due up for Coach Benedict's Lions, who Brendan have just really played an all-around complete game so far in the first 5 innings.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really pick one area of the game that they haven't been better than Bonner in so far. They've gotten a ton of base runners, a lot of extra base hits. Pitching's been great. The defense has been great. It's hard from the O'Hara side of things to really be upset about anything.
Well, Jake Gorman has really been the stopper in relief for Danny Buckton. His first pitch here is hit hard, but foul. It's 0-1. Jack Quinn still warming up on the O'Hara side of things, but it's been 5 no-hit innings for Colin Thomas, the sophomore, who's been outstanding today in his first ever playoff start.
Now, I would be surprised if Thomas came out, but Quinn's starting to throw with the catcher now, and I think it's also because he's in center field, so he wouldn't have time for like a true bullpen before, like most pitchers would, but I would expect Thomas to stay.
And Thomas is throwing a little bit more aggressively than he was the last inning for the Lions. Right in front of us here in right field. Here is the 0-2 pitch from Gorman and Niwaz. It's hit on the ground, over to third. Tough play by Brown, and it's foul. Brown has already made a couple of really good plays near the line today. Almost had another. Niwaz today, 0 for 2. Reached via an error in the second, and also struck out swinging in the third. David Chapansky, Brendan Ricciardi with you here in our Delco Baseball Now booth down the right field line on this, what has turned out to be sunny Monday afternoon. And the 0-2 pitch from Gorman, low pitch that's whacked foul. Almost hit Jack Quinn.
Jack Quinn almost caught that one. Now he's going to get it.
Niwaz a little bit late on that last pitch from Gorman. Gorman again, the Marple transfer, pitching in his first playoff game for the Friars. ERA above 6, but he's been sharp in this one.
Yeah, he was really the not-so-secret weapon for Marple when they had their loaded 2024 team. Got brought up from JV and almost was immediately their closer. Threw a lot of huge high-leverage innings for them and ended up closing out that district championship. when they beat Radnor.
And he doesn't need a pitch clock. He gets it and goes. Good rhythm. 1-2 pitch. This ball is crushed. Deep to left field. Albarano looks up, and it is a ground rule double. Will hop in front of the fence. A big swing for Jason Niwaz. Another double for the Lions.
And they've just been peppering that left field line this whole game, and it's hard to see both fair and foul, and also hard to see ground rule double or homer. I was kind of going off your reaction. I didn't really see anything to let me know.
Fifth double of the day for the Lions. Niwaz is first. And we'll have a courtesy runner for the catcher trot out of the dugout.
Seeing 27.
Diorcio.
See if I can get a name on
Diorcio, I believe.
Courtesy runner here.
Diorcio is the courtesy runner over there at second. Again, it is a courtesy runner for the catcher, Niwaz.
Anthony Diorizio.
Okay, Diorizio. Okay,
I'll
that makes sense.
defer to the Italian here.
Okay.
I'll go Diorizio.
Diorizio. I'll take your word for it. So Diorizio leads off a second. Here's Joey Thompson. Thompson also doubled earlier today. Fastball outside. Really the first trouble that Gorman has been in today since coming in relief for Buckton.
Back-to-back freshmen here in the Lions order. Both doubles already.
And Quinn now is not just only throwing to a catcher, but throwing to a catcher is actually squatting, which a little bit of a difference than it was a few moments ago. So we'll keep an eye on him. Right now it looks to be Colin Thomas for the sixth for O'Hara, who lead it 4-0. You're in the top half of the sixth.
And don't get me wrong, Quinn's had a great career here and is a worthy candidate out of the bullpen.
Throw back to second from Romano, and they got the courtesy runner. Diorizio picked off at second base. What a cannon from Cole Romano. Diorizio just had really no chance, kind of a deer in headlights, as he was out there pretty quickly. Didn't look to be all that close from here, Brendan.
No, and Romano did not hesitate either. He knew that he was throwing that the second he caught it.
1-0 pitch to Thompson on the outside corner for a strike. It's 1-1. And that's where a few things today for Bonner. Yes, we've seen some very uncharacteristic things from Bonner on the bases in the field, but they've had a few things that look to be kind of shots of momentum, but they haven't been able to capitalize yet. Hitters count here to Thompson. 3 balls and 1 strike. Just one away. Gorman waiting for the signs from Romano. He's got it now. And his pitch, check swing, fouled back over the Bonner dugout.
This has to be the #1 field in Delco in terms of losing foul balls because of all the woods behind and the fact that backstop doesn't kind of like hang overhead. It's just kind of straight up.
How much money do you think Bonner spends on new baseballs?
You know what? They got 4 uniforms. I think they'll be all right.
Gorman's 3-2 pitch is on its way to Thompson. Again, fouled back. Right on cue. This one headed towards the train tracks.
Sure looks like Quinn's starting to heat up a little bit here.
It really does. And now they have someone who's standing in, acting as a batter as well. So he's not just really loosening lightly anymore. Much more aggressive down the right field line. Here's Gorman's 3-2 pitch to Thompson, and it's lined into right field, quickly falling. It's going to split the gap between Friel and Lockhart, head to the fence. It's cut off by Friel, and Thompson will hurry back to first base. So nice job there by Ryan Friel to hold Thompson to a long single.
I thought for sure off the bat that was going to be too. A great job, just a really good route taken there to cut that off, and a great throw kind of off platform as well to get it back in.
So the first 2 hitters for O'Hara have both hit the ball very hard against Gorman. One a double for Niwaz, one a single for Thompson, that most recent hit, but Niwaz, or the courtesy runner, Diorizio, was picked off.
Yeah, I think with 2 outs, you might have seen Thompson try and take off for to really take off to go for second there, but I think with 1 out, just trying to keep the inning going.
1 out for Jake Steigerwalt, who's reached base twice today, a double and a walk. He's put up 2 of the best at-bats today against Friars pitching. Righty-righty matchup. Thompson takes his lead. There he goes. Shows bunt, and it hits Steigerwalt. So Jake will be aboard all 3 times today. Runners on first and second.
Looks like Romano might have got a piece of that one as well.
He looks to be shaken up there as
on that throwing hand,
looks like
I think.
Coach B. Barberi is out to chat with Romano. Sean Vaughn is due up for Cardinal O'Hara. Lions lead at 4-0. It's been all Lions so far. A really balanced game from Cardinal O'Hara. Looks like Gorman will throw a couple warm-up tosses just to make sure that Romano is still good to go. I mean, Romano's made some excellent throws today in this game, so you hope that his arm is okay. And now the batter steps in, so no warm-up throws, it appears, for Gorman or for Romano to try to test out that arm. Runners on first and second. Thompson at second. Steigerwald at first. Vaughn at the dish, the 9-hole hitter for Cardinal O'Hara. He's 1 for 2 with a single and a ground out today. First pitch from Gorman. Vaughn shows bunt, popped up foul. You've seen the Lions really just play some small ball today. Of course, they've had some clutch extra base hits, clutch hitting overall, but just runners taking the extra base when they can, some stolen bases, and some bunts as well from the Lions. No balls and 1 strike to count. Runners on first and second. Thompson at second. Steigerwald at first. Here comes the pitch from Gorman. Vaughn gets the bunt down. Third base side. Only play is to first for the pitcher Gorman, who does get the out. Vaughn was quickly hustling down the line. 2 away. Second and third now for the Lions. Back to the top of the order for Colin Thomas.
Yeah, I was going to say, with the bunt here, obviously 2 outs in the inning now, but I think it just shows the faith they have in Colin Thomas at the plate, where now a base hit makes it 6-0, and things get real interesting.
We'll see if things get interesting indeed, Brendan. Top of the 6th inning, 4-0 lead for Cardinal O'Hara. See how the infield plays here for Bonner. Gorman just looking to get this third and final out. Colin Thomas, 1 for 3 today, grounded or hit into a double play his last at bat. Takes a strike on the outside corner. Very favorable pitch there for Gorman. You hear the Bonner dugout beginning to make some more noise, but as we said earlier, it's not usual to see the Bonner dugout this silent. Pitch from Gorman. Breaking ball outside. Runner at third is Thompson. Steigerwald at second. 2 outs. And how big now was that pickoff at second base? It would have made it 1 out with maybe at least 1 run in now. Just second and third, still no runs in this inning. Foul ball here from Thomas, and it's 1-2. Thomas trying to help himself out at the plate. He's thrown 5 no-hit innings on the mound with a chance to potentially put his team up by 6 with a base hit here. Gorman gets the signs from Romano, looking to dig deep here. Is the right-hander, the junior, Marple transfer. And the pitch from Gorman to Thomas in the dirt. Good stop by Romano.
Again, we've been saying it all day. O'Hara's done a really good job of just not chasing. I don't know the exact number of strikeouts they have, but it's not many.
O'Hara just has 2 strikeouts today. Niwaz with 1, Quinn with the other. 1 for Buckton, 1 for Gorman. Count even at 2. Runners take their lead off their bases. Not a large lead for either runner. And the pitch here from Gorman. Thought about it. Takes a called. Strike 3 right down Broadway. Thomas is retired. And right on cue, Brendan, 3rd strikeout of the day for Bonner pitching. 2 for Gorman. 6 outs left for Bonner to work with. Bottom of the 6th. 4-0 lead for Cardinal O'Hara. Bonner with just 6 outs left to work with. They trail at 4-0 here in the wild card round of the PCL playoffs. David Shapansky, Brendan Ricciardi with you. Brendan just tossed out the chair. We're going to stand for final couple innings.
Well, also standing gets me in the sun, too.
It does. It does. We're in a little bit of shade from the batter's eye, or not batter's eye, batting cage, down the third base line here, or first base line. Top of the order, due up for Bonner, 1, 2, and 3. Jack Brown, Jack Coleman, and Gavin Dorita. And Brendan, this feels like kind of the last chance for Bonner.
Yeah,
if it's going to go, it's got to go now.
Well, we said it when these guys came up in, I think it was the fourth, maybe the third, where it's like it's not now or never, but the offense could really use that middle of the order. Well, now, again, you'd still have the seventh inning, but with these guys coming up this inning, it feels like now is the time to strike.
Jack Brown will lead it off. Colin Thomas is still out there. He's been extremely sharp. 5 innings, only blemishes have been a couple of walks and a hit by pitch.
Get you his updated pitch count in a second here.
First pitch here is lined down the right field line. It's blooping fast. First hit of the day for the Friars comes here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Jack Brown looking to ignite the flame.
And that was the 72nd pitch of the day. So he's still got about, I want to say you go up to 105 in the playoffs. That could just be for the district playoffs for District 1. It's either 100 or 105. I believe it's 105.
Well, Jack Quinn again in center field. He was throwing very aggressively last inning when O'Hara was hitting, so we'll keep an eye on him. First hit of the day comes in the 6th. Here's Jack Coleman now with no one out. Brown started, then stopped. Coleman takes a strike.
I could see potentially if a runner gets on here, they wouldn't want Colin Thomas to face Dorita and Friel for a third time, and that's when they'd bring in Quinn. So I think it'll just depend on the situation here. I do not envy being a manager. I always like being an assistant better.
No balls, 1 strike to count. Thomas looks into Niwaz, gets the signs. Strike of the knees called against Coleman. It's 0-2. Coleman, what a story this is. Again, the former O'Hara player transferred to Bonner. Right now on the losing side of things, but looking to continue the rally. Coleman today has reached with a hit by pitch in the 1st, also struck out swinging in the 4th. Has some work to do. He's behind, or I believe the count is 0-2. The pitch upstairs, it's 1-2. Scoreboard had 1-1. It is 1-2.
I believe the first 2 pitches were strikes.
One ball, 2 strikes the count. Bonner dugout coming alive. David Shapansky, Brendan Ricciardi with you here on Delco Baseball Now. So glad you could join us. Thomas comes set of the belt, checks back on Brown, who's in there standing.
Game Changer says 1-2 as well. So that's, and the scoreboard has been updated.
Nice to see. Curious what would happen when Bonner scores a run with the DJ in the outfield. Perhaps Coleman can let us find out. Pitch from Thomas upstairs, fastball way high. Niwaz thought about back picking there against Brown, but decided not to. So count even at 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. How long do you think the leash is here on Thomas, Brendan?
How long do I think it is, or how long should it be?
I guess I'll say if Coleman reaches, do you think Thomas comes out of the game?
I do. I do because of how aggressively Jack Quinn was warming up. I think the leash is shorter. I would personally give him another one, but also you don't want to make it a 4-3 game with 1 swing.
Upstairs,
I will
ball
say,
3.
if he walks him, I would take him out. I think that's fair.
3 balls, 2 strikes. It's full. Would you send Brown here? Nobody out?
No,
risk it, right?
not yet, because if a strike him out, throw him out, ball, call the game over at that point.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Bonner faithful, making some noise. Nobody out here in the 6th. Friars trail by 4. Thomas steps off.
I like that. Try and get the dugout, you know.
Again, Colin Thomas, the sophomore, first ever playoff start. 5 no-hit innings, allowed just his first hit here in the 6th against Jack Brown to lead off this frame.
Well, now Adam Schreiber's going out to throw at the catcher. A lot of moving parts here for O'Hara.
There sure is, right in front of us here in our setup down the right field line. There goes Brown, the 3-2 breaking ball, called strike 3. Niwaz's throw way late. So Brown swipes second, but there's 1 away, and the Friars are down to their final 5 outs.
That looked good from here. I don't think Coleman was thrilled about it, but from our vantage point, I thought it looked good.
7th strikeout of the day for Thomas, and I don't think that's going to buy him another batter, though. With Gavin Dorita coming up, Coach Benedict walking out to the mound.
Jack Quinn doesn't appear to be moving from center. Is it going to be Schreiber's game here? It looks like it is.
So Adam Schreiber, the high point commit, will come into the game. Bonner down to its final 5 outs. But what a day for Colin Thomas. Again, 5 shutout innings. 5 1/3 of a shutout inning for Colin Thomas. The runner on second is still his responsibility, but 5 no-hit innings. What a playoff debut for the right-hander. We'll take a break here on Delco Baseball Now. We'll be back just after this. New pitcher is the 6'8" tall right-hander Adam Schreiber, the High Point commit. And he'll take the hill for Cardinal O'Hara. And what a story this is. You mentioned earlier, been dealing with a little bit of some shoulder just pain over the last few days. But Schreiber was on the mound, gave up the winning hit against Bonner in the first game, has a chance to send O'Hara on in the playoffs to face LaSalle.
And he was unbelievable in that game against Bonner. It was a 1-0 loss, so that was the only run that scored for either team. And if he's anything close to what he was in that game, then O'Hara's going to be moving on here.
Schreiber sits in the upper 80s, can occasionally touch 90 as well. And this season, the numbers behind Schreiber, opponents sitting 252 against him, 28 2/3 of an inning, 37 strikeouts. Really doesn't allow a ton of hits. It's the walks that could be a problem for Schreiber at times. 23 walks and 28 2/3. But again, Schreiber again has the velocity and really, I mean, 6'8". I mean, imagine facing him as a sophomore or junior. A lot of these, Bonner hitters, juniors and seniors, but still, I mean, just crazy.
I was going to say 6'8" looks, makes 87 look like 92 with how quickly it gets on you.
Well, reading the entire Bonner roster for you, there is nobody on Bonner taller than 6'3". That's Richie Brady, the junior right-handed pitcher. So Schreiber has some distance on top of him, being 6'8" tall.
Well, again, I'm not sure if Colin Thomas stayed in the game or not, but either way, I think that
I didn't see Thomas stay in.
I think the mentality here is that you don't want the top Bonner hitters to see him for a third time. I was a little surprised at the hook, but also you got a young kid, you got a couple other pitchers you trust, and we'll see how it goes.
Here's Gavin Dorita. He'll be the first hitter to face Adam Schreiber with 1 out and a runner on second. 4-0 lead for Cardinal O'Hara. Schreiber's first pitch to Dorita, fastball outside. And as we mentioned before the break, Bonner just strung together its first hit a few batters ago. Jack Brown to lead off the 6th. And this is where the engine has to go for the Friars. This meat of the order with Dorita and Friel. Barring a double play, Friel will get a chance here in the 6th. The 1-0 pitch to Dorita. Again, same spot. Outside and high, 2-0. And Niwaj just looked to Schreiber and kind of said, calm down. Adam's been asking for a game of the week with Cardinal O'Hara spotlighted. Well, he's got one here in the playoffs. Big spot for the right-hander. The 2-0 pitch from Schreiber. In there for a called strike. Nice comeback. It's 2-1.
Yeah, we're a little tough to see for how far away we are, but the velocity looks pretty good.
It does. Dorita today, 0 for 1 with a walk and a strikeout. Runner at second is Jack Brown. 2 balls and a strike. Just miss. 3-1. Hitters count for Dorita. Don't think Schreiber loved that call.
Well, not everybody's as tall as he is. So.
No, not at all.
That might have been a strike if he was batting.
3 balls, 1 strike to count to Gavin Dorita, the Bonner first baseman. Such a big part of this PCL championship roster from a season ago. Bonner trying to hang on to their reigning champion title. 3 balls and a strike. The pitch from Schreiber. Upstairs, ball 4. Dorita walks. 2 runners on for the Friars. So here's Ryan Friel. Tying run is on deck for Bonner with Owen Lockhart. Friel just trying to keep the line moving. If you're Coach Benedict, not what you wanted, though, out of Schreiber, out of the bullpen. 5 pitches, first 4 of them balls, or 4 of the 5 balls. First pitch here from Schreiber, blooped down the third baseline. It's foul. Friel today has had a tough day at the plate, and we know that he's been battling his own injury. He's 0 for 2, 2 strikeouts, both swinging, and both of them came against Colin Thomas. I think he's happy Thomas is out of the game.
I think most of this Bonner lineup is.
Schreiber's 0-1, popped up, foul. Friel trying to work his way back. Brown at second, Dorita at first, with Lockhart on deck. Bonner faithful just looking for something to cheer for. 4-0 lead for O'Hara. They've led since the second inning. The Steigerwalt RBI double. 2 RBI double. Called, strike 3. Schreiber gets the K. It's the 8th strikeout of the day for Cardinal O'Hara pitching. First for Schreiber.
That pitch had some bite right there, and Friel, I think he thought he was getting the high fastball. A lot of the times, 0-2, you'll see that kind of that waist pitch, right? That 0-2 fastball up, and then go with the breaking ball, but he went after with the breaking ball, and it was perfectly placed.
Strikeout number 38 of the season for Schreiber. 2 outs. Here's Owen Lockhart, the center fielder for Bonner. Bonner down to its final 4 outs. Pitch from Schreiber. Outside. And you think if you're going to get to Schreiber, you probably have to get the fastball. His breaking stuff is just too good.
Especially with that such a high release point, that 12-6 is really sharp.
Schreiber, long pause. Delivers just outside, perhaps low. It's 1-1. Schreiber this season has allowed just 1 home run. The 2-0 pitch upstairs. So 3-0 count to Owen Lockhart. Cole Romano is on deck, and Romano had that scorched baseball in his last at-bat. I'm sure he would love to get potentially redemption from that swing. 3 balls and no strikes the count. Brown at second, Dorita at first. They take their lead. Schreiber got some rosin. Again, Colin Thomas started this game 5 1/3, shutout innings, only the 1 hit allowed. Schreiber allowed the walk to Dorita. 3-0 count, hitters count for Lockhart. Schreiber's 3-0 outside, ball 4. So the bases are loaded for Bonner, and the tying run is coming to the plate in the form of Cole Romano.
It's not the hitter that you'd like to see if you're the O'Hara coaching staff here. Easily the most pop on this Bonner team. You mentioned, I believe, 4 home runs on the year.
Romano is 2 of the 4.
2 of the 4.
For Bonner.
I was here for one of them, and Malvern Prep center fielder Jalen Bowman dove over the fence to try and catch it. Very impressive.
At this field,
At this field,
fence.
yeah.
That's a pretty hard fence to dive
Yeah.
over. Not much flexibility
Nope.
in it. So here's Cole Romano, the catcher. He's 0 for 2 today with a strikeout, looking at a line out to center field that we've been talking about. Bases full of Friars. Brown at third, Dorita at second, Lockhart at first. Fastball upstairs to begin the at-bat. And again, you see the catcher Niwaz telling Schreiber, try to calm down, get in the zone. You can tell Schreiber definitely is fired up, has that adrenaline running coming in out of the pen. Schreiber's 1-0 to Romano. Inside, maybe upstairs, it's 2-0. And like you said, for Coach Benedict, is there a situation where you go to Quinn in center field to come in this game? If you win, maybe that puts you in jeopardy for Wednesday, but at this point for O'Hara, it might just be win the game. The 2-0 outside, ball 3. 3 balls, no strikes to count. Bonner's first run of the day, 90 feet away, perhaps just 1 ball away. 4-0 lead for Cardinal O'Hara. Bases juiced, full of Friars. Schreiber's 3-0. Right down Broadway for a strike. Had to be. Fans have stuck this one out. Two of the best fan bases in Delco. A large contingency from Cardinal O'Hara, even larger from Bonner here at its home field. Looking for a big strike. The 3-1 pitch, fouled back. Good cut there by Romano, but it's full. All the energy, all the nervousness. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Runners will be off. 2 outs. Good speed all around, especially with Brown at third. Dorita at first can run. And Lockhart, the center fielder, has speed. Ball in the gap, could clear him. Schreiber trying to stay composed here. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Schreiber had the big strikeout a moment ago. You think he goes back to the breaking ball?
3-2 with the bases loaded. It's risky, but I wouldn't throw Romano a fastball.
Romano eagerly awaiting. The 3-2 pitch, chopped on the ground, back to Schreiber. Unlike a few weeks ago with the walk-off hit for Bonner, he's got it this time. He's fired up. Nice job by Adam Schreiber in relief for the Lions as Bonner strands the bases loaded. We're off to the 7th, 4-0 lead for Cardinal O'Hara.
Back at you with some score updates here. Congratulations to Haverford for becoming the first Central League team since 2013 Strathaven to go undefeated as they take down Ridley 7-0. Radnor leads Pencrest 4-2 in the quest for a first-round bye. Marple Newtown did the best thing that they could to try and get in the playoffs. They beat Strathaven 4-0. Chichester beat Sun Valley, their rival, 10-0. Garner Valley and Lower Merion tied 2-2 going into the 10th. Conestoga leads Upper Darby 13-4. Doc Mennonite currently leads Delco Christian 6-5. Malvern Prep beat Westtown 11-0. And then tonight, under the lights at Coatesville, we have Episcopal taking on the Red Raiders. So it'll give me a little bit more time to get my score graphics and recaps out. Also, shout out to our 3 new interns. Shout out Tyler doing the video production for us today. We also have Gabe Denisi and Jaden Rivera from the Haverford School. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see Jaden play this year with a torn ACL. There was rumors that he could potentially come back for the playoffs, which would be awesome. But for now, we're going to see if he can type as well as he can hit with his 12 home runs last year.
Well, excited to read the game recaps on our website later this evening. 7th inning we go. Cardinal O'Hara, the 10 seed, looking to upset the 7-seeded Friars. 4-0 lead for Cardinal O'Hara. And it'll be Jack Quinn to lead us off, followed by Connor Clark, Nate Everett. So the first 5 1/3 of an inning completed by Colin Thomas, allowed just 1 hit in that span. Schreiber comes in, gets the final 2 outs, strands the bases loaded with 2 outs on a 3-2 pitch, was able to get the ground out. First pitch to Quinn is in there for a strike.
And I'll tell you what, I'm sure that after that inning, the O'Hara bench would love at least another run.
I definitely think so. They were fired up, and they still are very much fired up. And remember, this is the team has the bench mob. The 0-1, big swing and a miss. It's 0-2.
Believe, should they hold on, this would be the first O'Hara playoff win. I want to say since 2023, I believe they beat Carroll in the first round. I'll double-check that. It could have been 24, but I know that they beat Carroll at home.
The 0-2 pitch, crushed in the air, out to left center field. Lockhart is back, so is Albarano, and Lockhart will track it down just a few steps in front of the warning track. Great swing by Jack Quinn, but allowed out. So Jake Gorman gets the first out here of the 7th. Here's Connor Clark, who's 0 for 3 today, is the only hitter in the lineup that has not had a base hit and has not recorded a base hit today for Cardinal O'Hara. Clark 0 for 3 with 2 flyouts and a ground out. Swings at the first pitch, lines it down into right field for a single. So right on cue, he's got a hit, and all 9 hitters have recorded at least a single today for O'Hara.
To finish off what I was referring to earlier, is 2023. O'Hara took down Carroll in this same first round of the PCL playoffs. That was their last playoff win.
So 1 out. Here's Nate Everett, the DH, who we saw earlier has had a tough time running the bases today, just has grabbed his hamstring a few times. But he's had a nice day at the plate. He's halfway to the cycle. A single and a double.
I could definitely see him getting, if he were to get on base, just being removed from the game entirely to get that runner. But it also looks like Jack Quinn looks like he's ready to potentially pitch the 7th inning here. He's starting to get loose again.
Could he be the closer for Cardinal O'Hara? There's a strike to Everett at 0-1.
Well, if he is, that also puts him in the position then for Wednesday at LaSalle to pitch, and him and Schreiber, if they both only throw 1 inning, to be able to try and split that game.
And maybe that's a thought process for Coach Benedict.
Yep.
Don't burn either pitcher too much. Have them both available for Game 2 of the postseason if this score holds.
Because obviously beating the rival is great, but at the end of the day, if you're not playing to win the whole thing, then why are you playing, right?
Gorman's 0-1, fouled back. It's 0-2. But you have to think O'Hara just wants this game so much. Both teams do. Bonner won the first game earlier this season, 1-0, a walk-off where Schreiber was on the mound. And opposite today, he makes the play. And just a really cool rivalry. No balls, 2 strikes the count. Gorman looks back Clark at first, and his pitch to Everett outside, skips past Romano, and there goes Clark down to second. So a runner in scoring position could be a very important insurance run.
Yeah, as good as Romano is, there's not much he could have done about that one there.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. And for the last 3 innings or so, we've been fully in the sun. Beautiful day for playoff baseball. David Chapansky, Brendan Ricciardi with you. Glad you could join us here on Delco Baseball Now. The pitch from Gorman popped up. Watch out. Jack Quinn. It's going to go foul before it gets to Quinn.
Yeah, I don't know where did all the clouds go.
I don't know, but it's a beautiful day, except if you're sitting in the shade like we are, where you might need a jacket. But temperatures right around 60 degrees.
Got the Penn State Club Baseball quarter zip in honor of the 5th straight
Nice.
World Series trip, hoping to win that 4th straight national
There you go.
championship. And a ball just, wow, they actually got lucky. It hit the first base coach, so it didn't go in play. A ball that got away from Quinn in the bullpen.
Here's Gorman's 1-2 pitch. Again, skips past Romano. And again, Clark will head to third. Don't exactly have the number on it, but at least has to be 5 or 6 pass balls in this game. Really, maybe wild pitches. Not necessarily the fault of Romano, but just some tough bounces behind the plate for him today. And it's even at 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Again, Danny Buckton started this game for Bonner. And Gorman has come in relief, so only 2 pitchers used for the Friars. O'Hara has not scored since the 4th inning. They scored 2 in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th. Pitch from Gorman, chopped up the middle. Good play by Coleman. He'll look back Clark and get the out at first. So 2 away, and that's a big out with the infield in. So here's Vinny Mancini with a 2-out RBI chance with Clark over there just 90 feet away. Mancini started the rally in the 2nd, which started the big day for O'Hara's offense. Had a single, and then since then grounded out to 3rd and flew out to Albarano and left. Definitely want to give Jake Gorman his props in this game because he's come in for Bonner and really has stopped O'Hara's at least strong offense. He's allowed some base runners, but has really settled into this game.
Yeah, if they're able to close this, if they're able to come back here.
This ball is hit in the air out to fairly deep left center field. The center fielder, Lockhart, will make the catch in the alleyway. So another hard-hit baseball, but nothing to show for it there for O'Hara. We have played 6.5. Final chance time for Bonner as they trail at 4-0. Bottom of the 7th, last chance time for the Friars. Adam Schreiber back to work for Cardinal O'Hara. Entered the game in the 6th, got the final 2 outs in relief of Colin Thomas. 4-0 lead for O'Hara. Brendan, just a little game recap. It's been pretty much all Lions. Great start from Colin Thomas. Good offense early in this game, and O'Hara really hasn't looked back.
Yeah, it's a very well-rounded team effort. You know, their defense has been clean. The base running's been good. They've had a ton of doubles, and really just from Colin Thomas has been the story of the game. Also been swinging the bat really well for them as well, and it's just kind of the growth of this young offensive core. You know, they have a ton of freshmen, ton of sophomores in this lineup, and they don't really seem too fazed by it.
Schreiber will face the bottom of the order for Bonner, which has really struggled. It's Albarano, Erickson, and D'Ambrosio will be the 3 hitters due up for Bonner. Those 3 hitters 0 for 9 combined, with Albarano, Erickson, and D'Ambrosio, a strikeout and a few pop-ups in there as well. But they could definitely start the rally. For Bonner right now, you just want to find any way to get the lineup back to the top, give guys like Jack Brown, Jack Coleman, and Gavin Dorita a chance. Bonner had the bases loaded with 2 outs in the last inning, and they had a 3-0 count to Cole Romano at the plate, and Romano ended up grounding out on a 3-2 pitch back to Schreiber, and that was the best chance of the day for Bonner.
Yeah, and again, we talked about it in different innings here, is that for the guys in the bottom of the order here, you're not winning the game with 1 swing here. You're not tying the game with 1 swing here. So for these guys just to be able to say, hey, we got to get on base and just keep it moving, trust the guy behind you.
Still a good crowd on hand. Here's the left fielder, Luke Albarano, to lead us off in the bottom of the 7th. First pitch from Schreiber on the outside corner for a strike. Schreiber and the Lions have done a good job today of throwing first pitch strikes. Schreiber through the windup. His 0-1 pitch to Albarano. Hit hard on the ground, couple hops, but right to the second baseman Thompson. Fires to first, and Bonner's season has come down to 2 outs. Bonner, of course, the reigning PCL champions. What a run it was last year for the Friars. Of course, had the big win against #1 seeded LaSalle at MSI, a game where everything went right for Bonner. Went on to defeat Ryan in the PCL championship in a blowout at Rutgers Camden. Lost to Coatesville in the PI AA playoffs, but an all-around great year. Bonner this year just really struggled to get consistent. Right at 500, 10-10 overall, 6-6 in conference play.
They really dug themselves out of a hole. I believe they were 4-9 at one point, and it seemed like towards the end of the year, offensive-wise, they're starting to put it together. But like you mentioned, just consistency. They weren't able to really go on any long streaks. There were so many things that looked like turning points that just didn't amount to be turning points.
1-0 pitch from Schreiber outside. It's 2-0 to Sean Erickson, who's 0 for 2 today with 2 pop-ups. 1 to Mancini, a third, 1 to Quinn in center. Two balls, no strikes, the count. And as you mentioned, Bonner has won 6 of its last 7 games, outscored its opponents 58-15 in the last 7. The offenses went quiet here this afternoon. The 2-0 pitch in there for a strike. It's 2-1. Bonner this season with just a 3.58 team earn run average. The pitching was solid today with Buckton and Gorman. Just the offense that averages 5 runs per game. It's a struggle. Schreiber's 2-1. Inside, it's 3-1. So good at bat here from Sean Erickson. Erickson, a .351 hitter, 13 hits this season, 9 RBIs for Bonner. Ball 4. So Erickson, the 8-hole hitter, works a walk with 1 out here in the 7th. Now the freshman, D'Ambrosio, will step into the batter's box. Big opportunity for the underclassmen. Can Bonner, Coach DeBarberry has so much faith in D'Ambrosio. The freshman trying to pay back the confidence with a hit to keep this thing going. First pitch here, right down Broadway from Schreiber. David Chapansky, Brendan Ricciardi with you here on Delco Baseball Now. Our game of the week, PCL playoffs, wild card round. This score holds. O'Hara would play LaSalle on Wednesday. No balls, 1 strike. Schreiber comes home. Swing and a miss from D'Ambrosio. It's 0-2.
Dave, you ever been to that LaSalle field before? It's gorgeous.
I have not. Ghost, of course, big rivals with LaSalle, but I have not been to LaSalle before.
Beautiful field. often used as neutral site field.
I feel like I've driven by it, though, before. No balls, 2 strikes the count. Schreiber comes set from the stretch. His pitch chopped on the ground. This could be 2 and end it. Thompson missed the tag, I believe, of Erickson. Erickson trying to get back on the bag, but he could not. Thompson dives and keeps the tag on Erickson. 2 away. That's a perfect metaphor for how things have gone today for O'Hara and how things have gone for Bonner. I really could have put Bonner in business. Thompson rushed it trying to get 2 as D'Ambrosio does run well, but missed the tag on Erickson. So 2 outs now. Bonner's season is down to its final out. Jack Brown, top of the lineup. 4-0 lead for Cardinal O'Hara. Ball bounces in front of Niwaz, so D'Ambrosio will head down to second.
Did they say that hit him?
I believe they did. So, well, the umpires are going to meet now to discuss if it did indeed hit Jack Brown, but that would be a crazy turn of events, especially because if it did, it could have meant the bases loaded with 1 out for Bonner in this inning.
Now, are they still discussing? Because from here, it didn't look like it hit it because the way how it
I don't
shot up
think so.
high.
So the umpires are going to send Jack Brown back.
Yeah.
Coach DeBarberi is not happy. It seemed like the end part of that discussion was that the second base umpire overruled the call by the home plate umpire, and the word was by DeBarberi, who may have been thrown out of this game, was that how do you have a better view than the home plate umpire? I don't know if DeBarberi's been thrown out, but the second base umpire was obviously not too enthused with what he had said. Umpire still huddling with Coach DeBarberi.
We'll have to check the replay. From here, it's impossible for us to see. I didn't think it hit him.
I didn't think it did either.
I thought it hit the plate because of how high it bounced up.
It should be a 1-0 count to Jack Brown, and I believe it is. I don't think Coach DeBarberi's happy with the call.
Well, now he's been tossed. Someone's been tossed.
Yeah, somebody in the dugout has been tossed. It may have been the third base coach for Bonner. I think it is DeBarberi, though. Oh, no, it's the third base coach, I believe, who's now yelling at the home plate umpire.
I heard a goodbye, you're gone.
So DeBarberi, I believe, is still in this game. The third base coach for Bonner has been ejected. One ball, no strikes the count to Jack Brown. Maybe that's thrown Schreiber off of his game. Maybe that was potentially part of the plan for Bonner, but Schreiber's looked good here in the 7th. Runner at second is D'Ambrosio. 1 ball, no strikes the count to Jack Brown. Schreiber from the stretch. Strike. I don't know if that's going to get Bonner any favorable calls, though, at the plate.
I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say so.
Probably not. David Shapansky, Brendan Ricciardi with you. Want to thank everybody, of course, for tuning in. Still could be some more fireworks left to go, though, here at Corey Field. Bonner's dugout has come alive, though. Making some noise there right behind the plate. The 1-1 pitch from Schreiber. Whacked foul, and Bonner is down to its final strike.
Just what this win would mean to the O'Hara program after years of losing to Bonner would be kind of hard for us to put into words here.
O'Hara looking for the victory. Adam Schreiber looking to slam the door. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. The pitch from Schreiber hit on the ground to the third baseman Mancini, who's got it across the diamond in time for the third and final out. And to be the champion, you got to beat the champion. And the Cardinal O'Hara Lions have knocked off the Bonner Friars by a final score of 4-0. It's the first playoff win for the Lions since 2023.
It's about as perfect of a game as you could ask for from the O'Hara side. Great pitching, timely hitting, defense was clean, and this team, I'm not going to predict that they're going to go out there and shock the 11-1 LaSalle Explorers, but with the way they played today, they can compete with anybody with how clean they were.
A 4-0 win for Cardinal O'Hara. Colin Thomas goes 5 1/3, only allows 1 hit, had 5 shutout innings, and the offense for O'Hara put together 5 doubles, and it's hard to pick an offensive player of the game, Brendan, but I think Jake Steigerwalt probably gets that mention. Had the 2 RBI double to start the scoring for O'Hara, then was also on base with a walk and a hit by pitch to follow the day.
Yeah, and I think he really set the tone. Last game we kind of talked about how they got all these runners on base, but they weren't able to put them in. But that swing right there, it kind of felt like a little bit of weight off the shoulder where it's like, all right, this is not last game. Now we're going to get all these runners on, and we're going to do something with it. And they really just ran with that.
So Cardinal O'Hara improves to 9-12 overall. A lot of their fans are here, and they are fired up, especially for Schreiber. Looks like Thomas is in there. Again, Colin Thomas's first career playoff start as a sophomore. The Lions improved to 9-12, and Cardinal O'Hara gets some revenge after the first game, which was a tough 1-0 loss against Bonner here at this field. So, of course, want to thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Tough season for Bonner overall. Brendan, before you go, just thoughts on the overall Bonner season. They fall to 10-11. Just really a season where they couldn't get everything going. It was either the pitching was really good and the hitting struggled, or the hitting was really good and the pitching struggled.
Yeah, and it kind of just felt like last year, they started a little bit slow and they just caught fire at the end of the year, and it kind of just sometimes felt like they were just they just kind of expected that, oh, we'll turn it around like we did it last year, but it was a very different roster last year, a little bit less on the pitching side. And, there's obviously still a ton of talent here, and I'd imagine this is going to fuel these guys. And they still have, I believe, only maybe 5 seniors. It's a shame that we don't get to watch Ryan Friel anymore, our reigning offensive player of the year. But, it's a great culture over there, and I'm sure they'll be right back next year.
And this Bonner team, again, similar to last year, will have a lot of different pieces heading into next year, right? You talked about with Friel, Dorita will be back, but a lot of those pieces from the PCL championship team a season ago will have graduated by the time that the next year comes. But really just a fantastic game here, fantastic PCL playoff game. Again, Cardinal O'Hara advances with the 4-0 win against Bonner. They will play LaSalle on Wednesday, the 1 seed. Well, Bonner upset the 1 seed LaSalle last year. Can O'Hara do it this year?
Well, it sure would be fun to see, wouldn't it?
Well, it's the underdog, right? Philly loves an underdog story. Delco loves an underdog story. We'll see if we get it on Wednesday when Cardinal O'Hara takes on the 1-seeded LaSalle Explorers. I want to thank everybody for tuning into our coverage. We're saying so long here from Corey Field on the campus of Monsignor Bonner High School, where the final score is 4-0. Cardinal O'Hara with their first playoff win since 2023. For Brendan Ricciardi, I'm David Chapansky. I want to thank our whole crew here on site. Have a great rest of your day.